Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Oh, wow. Just really giving it this week,
Well, I
Kamar.
got that energy now.
Welcome back to another episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. As Kamar mentioned, my name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
I'm here. Wish you were beautiful.
and Simon.
What the fuck is up?
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. And we're going to go over each episode, the talking points, talk about the guests, things they brought up, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, how's your week, buddy?
Another week of stand-up. Fucked up, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
Oh, wasn't good?
No. It was good to be back. The funny story is you were going to come to the Late Show.
Yeah.
11 people.
Oh, so I should have showed up.
No.
Oh.
There's no way to sustain laughter. Like, even if you're killing, it's still like
Yeah, it just dissipates too quickly.
in a huge room.
Yeah.
But when I brought the headliner up for the Late Show, this is the first for me. I came outside and I got heckled.
Outside?
From someone who was at the early show screaming, "You suck," some drunk girl or whatever. And it was,
That's fun.
and I realized I don't want to park my car in the driveway anywhere because it sucks getting in a piece of shit car. Like, there's just nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just hammers home that you haven't made it.
Exactly. It's just exposed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see how this is going to work. Unless there's a vaccine or crazy test that anything's going to come back to normal anytime soon.
What about hydrochloroquine?
Let's hope. I haven't done the research, but it's
Neither
bleak
has
out
anybody
there.
else,
I mean, I've realized I always want to see Joey Diaz perform. I don't think you'll ever see him perform.
Well, by his mandate, you know, the one he set when he was on the Joe Rogan show for how he was going to perform, 10 people makes about sense.
But I mean, he just fired up his own Patreon. Like, he's making a lot of moves, like, to transition out of stand up because there's just nothing out there.
Well, that's why Joe's moving to Texas, I think. Aren't they going to buy that comedy club? That must be part of this whole thing. He's getting all these...
Well, he's not going to have any friends to perform at that comedy club. Things keep going the way
Oh,
they're
save
going.
it for the post, Joe. Save it for the post, Joe. No, but seriously, like, they, you know, that's got to kind of be in their plans, or you must have some...
I doubt it, honestly. I don't think Joe wants to open or operate a comedy club.
Nobody knows. No one wants to be liable. No one
sorry,
wants to be responsible.
I don't mean like that. I think there's a comedy club there already that he likes, that he knows the woman who runs, and he probably just said, look, I'm going to back you through this COVID thing. We're going to make sure you survive, and this is going to be my club now, you know? Not mine as in mine, my home base.
It's almost like the opposite of us. Like, times are tough. You think you might lose your business. And then out of the blue, Joe Rogan and 5 other established comedians are like, we're going to move to your city, and we're going to perform here every night. Every week.
It's just one club is not going to save the world.
No, of course not.
Anyways, I had a fun week performing. And
Come on, let me ask you this, though. If you could put all those 11 people closer together, would the show have been better?
no.
Okay, fair enough. No, but I'm just asking because, like, I went to rap shows in big rooms that had 12 people. The artist was like, why don't we all just get around in a circle, make it a little more intimate, and it became a thing. So my question was like, you know, does that...
Yeah, I suppose that's possible, but obviously with social distancing,
I get
that's
it, you
not
can't, yeah.
possible. But it's like, if you're telling jokes to 100 people, if 30 of them are laughing, that's all right. Even if 70 are like, I don't know, but when it's
3 out of
people,
11.
And one more thing, on the Late Show, this guy was on stage telling jokes, and there was a drunk birthday girl in the crowd. There's 11 people, and there's a table of 3, and she was chirping him, so I got up on stage, was like, just please keep it down a bit. And you know what happens when you tell a drunk girl what to do? Cross your arms, all harumph. But I've alienated 30% of the audience, so it's just like, it's just a different game.
Oh, Kamar, that's fucking hilarious.
But what I will say is that the people who were there were appreciative.
Yeah.
You know, they were happy to be out there, happy to be doing something. So there was some leeway there.
We went to Superchunk, not Superchunk, but Superchunk is a band I like, and the lead singer had like a side band, Portastatic, and we went to see them in Montreal. And we were one of 3 other tables that showed up for this concert. And he got up on stage and he was just like, hello, Montreal. This is the last time we'll ever perform in this city.
Well,
just so bummed.
And that's a totally different thing. Music is,
Music's tough.
but music's easier that you just play your songs and then you don't have a huge applause. But comedy, like even like I said, you tell the funniest joke, they all laugh, and then like there's just no sustained ride.
Well, you just really have to connect with the people in the crowd, you know.
Well, I did. Everyone was happy. Like even when you're on there and you're like, this is going poorly. Then after everyone goes, hey, that was great, man. Thanks a lot. And you're like, okay, I don't know what show you saw, but it was fun.
Simon, how's your week?
My week was
it a
okay.
Cottage?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, just fucking taking her easy, trying. And yeah, that's about it. Good Rogan week, but I can't download anything up there. Like there's not the ability to.
Unless you want to run your data up.
No.
No.
If it's too big, you can't on the
all
data.
Joe Rogans are too big.
Yeah.
And especially this week where we had two
4-hour
4-hour
ones, yeah.
episodes. So what happens is I get back on Friday and I just have a shit ton to listen to, which I'm not complaining, but it just, you know.
Isn't there a fucking small town you can drive into and get Wi-Fi for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know where I would get the Wi-Fi though. You know what I mean? Like,
Isn't there a dépanneur you can just go in and be like, hey, can I just borrow the password?
well,
You
definitely
have to do it in an
not if
accent?
I ask like that, man. They're probably gonna beat the shit out of me.
Do you still have that beaver dam up there?
Do I still?
I like how he acted like you built it.
Yeah.
No, there was a beaver dam up there. I remember we were up there one summer and we broke it.
Yeah,
There's a huge,
every year beavers go there and
and it builds up in the
they
reservoir
build a
banks.
dam and then they hire a trapper who goes to catch the beavers. Dude, this guy looks like he is from the like Klondike Gold Rush, you know, huge white beard. He goes up there with this little backpack. He comes back out and his backpack is full
Beavers.
of, well, this is the thing. He goes to dump out the backpack and I figure he's got like
2 beavers in there.
one beaver only could fit in this backpack. There are 3 beavers in there. They just kept coming out. You know what I mean?
It's like a clown
You saw
car
the-
of beavers.
You saw the dead beavers.
Oh yeah, he flopped them right on the ground in front of our cottage. It was
pride.
like, gross, man.
But breaking that dam is so much fun, eh?
Watching
how
the
you
water go through is fun, but being in that place there with all the leeches and the beaver poop and you're breaking a beaver dam. So.
Have you seen river surfing?
Yeah, of course.
It's the same sort of thing, it starts small and then all of a sudden it's a rage.
Yeah. I like how Simon was like, this guy hunts he traps the beavers, and then he's like, he's got 3 dead beavers. He's clearly hunting them, fucking guy.
Well, no, he's not. He's a trapper, so he sets
Okay,
traps.
fine.
No, sorry,
I know, it's semantics.
He's killing the
Yeah,
beavers.
okay, there we
I
go,
wasn't
yeah.
hiding the fact that
Okay.
he's killing the beavers. He's just not out there with a gun waiting.
Yeah,
for
you were
beavers to
being
come.
more, a hunter would say you were being, you were using the right.
Accurate,
Yes,
yeah.
whereas I'm just being a fucking
He gets
ignorant.
paid and he gets the beaver pelts.
He gets paid and he gets the beaver pelts. I have nothing to do with this.
Well, Kamar, seeing as
They
it's not
just want the
1820,
beavers
I don't
gone.
think the beaver pelt is worth maybe
Oh,
what you.
for sure it's worth something.
It's definitely worth a couple $100, man. And for this guy, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, he's not trading stocks on the NASDAQ.
How close did you get the beavers?
Sorry, what?
Did you saw the
I
dead
was right
beavers?
up there. Shep was with me, and I took him over.
you see their
and we
teeth?
looked at the beavers. Yeah, he showed us
Big,
all
big
the shit.
teeth,
Yeah,
eh?
it's crazy. They go right up into their fucking skull.
That's amazing.
They're super aggressive too.
Obviously, they go
Super
right
aggressive.
up into their skull. What a stupid thing to say.
Whatever. We
Don't
all
put
get
yourself
one,
down.
Simon.
How's your week, Matt?
Whatever.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Fuck, I had something important too. Oh well. Oh, whoever was asking, I speak the best French, without a doubt.
pas vrai.
Yes, it's definitely true.
Pense que tu parles
Je parle.
plus bon français de tous les
Mon
hommes
français
d'ici?
est le plus bon.
Non.
Oui.
Oui, moi je parle français le plus bon de les trois.
Well, plus bon is not the right grammar, I can tell you. that.
Okay, fine. Grammatically, I'm not. But listen, there's no fucking way I could speak French. I could out French both of you.
Why do you think
Oui,
that?
ouais.
When did you stop taking French?
Well, I stopped going to school in grade 10.
Me too.
But keep in mind, I had a job for 2 years recently where I had to speak French a lot.
Tu penses que tu es bilingue?
Belong? Yeah, I would say
You
I'm.
belong.
I belong. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We got a lot of shit
You know
to
what?
go over.
I don't care. good.
I don't
You
care
are the
either.
best at French, Matt.
I thought you
I
did not
hate
speak a
French.
lick of French, and then I just heard us like, yes, I was like, you speak pretty good French.
I
didn't think you could speak a lick of
order steamés and poutine, and that's all I need to do.
C'est
man.
juste
That's
ça.
true. That's
Pepsi
all you
Coke,
need.
c'est
Yeah.
ça.
I hate Pepsi, though. Tomorrow, you want to run down the guests for us, please?
Crazy week. I'd love to. Thanks for asking, Matt. We start off the week with a Dr. Bradley Garrett, who told us about the Prepper Society, 1515. Then we had a marathon with, I think, one of the biggest rock stars in the world, Post Malone, 1516. Then we had a police psychologist, 1517, Nancy Panza. And we finished off with, I believe, the real Dos Equis man, 1518, David Choe.
The real Dos Equis, man. Yeah, no shit.
He is the most interesting man.
Yeah, for sure.
He's top 5 guest, I think.
For sure.
Oh, I'm so interested to hear the ratings.
I mean, this one was a weird one.
No,
Like,
this was a super weird one. I just mean in general.
Oh.
I'm with you. Renaissance man and our type of Renaissance man, not a guy who knows Shakespeare, you know?
Listen, if you're not on our Patreon, we did a throwback where we did one of his episodes. It's so good.
If you're not on the Patreon, you should get on the Patreon.
Sure.
For now.
Or not.
Come on. Okay. Are we going to start this shit?
Yeah. You got to rate the week.
Oh, yeah.
You want to start?
Wait, let me look at that board, Matt.
That's where it is. Rate the week, son.
Rate the week.
I know what I'm doing here.
Get Kamar to rate the week. I got to think about it for a second.
It's weird. I give the week 3.5.
I think
I had expectations that were disappointed, and things that I thought weren't going to be good were surprising. It was weird.
it's fine. Kamar's saying that he enjoyed everything but Post Malone. And he's saying that he was surprised by the police psychologist and the prepper.
No, the police psychologist was just interesting. The prepper really surprised me, though.
Yeah, the prepper surprised. Okay, sure. I'm gonna match that 3.5. Couldn't go higher. Couldn't go lower either, though.
I'm going to go 3.75.
This fucking guy.
I can go higher, and I will.
Yes, I noticed. All right. Well, let's get it started.
Fire
All right.
up.
15. That's lucky, by the way, when you get two numbers that match like that in numerology. Dr. Bradley Garrett.
But in numerology, wouldn't you argue that it's 4 numbers?
2 pairs of numbers.
Gotcha. Okay. Simon, you must have been pleasantly surprised by this guy.
This was a fucking great episode, man. Like, this episode gets a big mark from me. I loved it.
Let's talk about it, then you can tell us your mark.
No, I'm going to tell you my mark now, Kamar. I'm
Wow.
going to do this my way.
Wow.
No, I'm not.
I was excited there, too.
Okay, well, let's start at the start with the Matrix moment that happened right away, first 2 minutes. Do you guys notice that we talk about something and then that's the very first thing they talk about? We just finished talking about Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huge discussion. Was that on the post, Joe? Or was that
Val
just
Kilmer.
privately?
No, Val Kilmer was with the Oliver Stone.
Okay. Anyways, and then the very first thing they talk about is the fact that this guy looks like Doc Holliday.
Yes, the Doc Holliday reference.
Matrix moment.
Yeah.
We need one of those things, Maddie.
Something for the button. Yeah, button. Yeah.
No, but it's got to be like Lawrence Fishburne, something he says.
Red pill or
Something like that.
What's one of
He's
his?
beginning to believe.
Do you know Kung Fu?
No,
that's
Keanu Reeves says that.
All right.
He's beginning to believe. That makes the most sense.
He's beginning to believe.
Just off the top, we'll get into. Do you guys think preppers need the world to end, or just preparing in case the world ends?
I think there are. Sorry, Matt. I'll just jump in there. I think that some preppers need the world to end. They're not going to be happy unless there's an apocalypse. I think some people, as the name suggests, just want to be prepared. And if you can't see that now, not you personally, but if one can't see that now, after everything we've been through, or what we're going through, like, God, prepping isn't a bad word, man.
Where it was a couple years ago, it was like get your tinfoil hat and stuff.
Well, and especially when, did you watch the show Preppers on Netflix?
No.
Well, you should check it out because it's a fun watch, but it paints these people as like
Loons.
and they are loons. The guys who are just preparing aren't going to make good television. You know what I mean? The ones that make good television are the guys who think that, like, the CIA is watching them all the time and they teach their kids to, I don't know, make traps out of fucking bear nuts or whatever.
Simon, I feel like the problem, though, and this guy mentioned it, is that with almost every single one of them, there tended to be some sort of underlying, like, wild political view. I feel like that's kind of what he was saying. Like, I feel like he kept reiterating that. Like, as normal as some of them are, and even as normal as some of the prepping is, eventually something wild will come out of their mouth.
But
like some Alex Jones type statement.
They did say the majority of the are in America, but that doesn't apply to someone who lives in other countries or prepper.
Well, we just need to make... Sorry, come on.
I was assuming he said like 95% of preppers are Trumpers or
No.
whatever.
I wasn't even saying Trumpers.
Sorry.
I just meant they all had some weird like conspiracy theory, or it had nothing to do with political views, Kumar. I'm not talking right or left at all. I just meant it seemed like all of them had some sort of like, you know, like they wanted to lean in and whisper like, yeah, but you know about the fluoride in the water, right?
Yeah.
Or about them making the frog, you know, like just any sort of...
So call those guys preppers, but call the other people something else. You know what I mean? Like we're lumping all the...
Rainy dayers.
Sure, whatever.
Getting ready for that rainy day.
You know what? I don't even care what it is, but again, it's like... you just can't lump everybody in together. I bet you the majority of these people are not crazy and not racist or...
Hold on, I wasn't going racist
conspiracy theorists.
All I was saying was that I actually disagree. I bet the majority of them are somewhat conspiratorial. I wouldn't say they're crazy, though. That's not... those two are not...
Sure. Maybe conspiratorial is the wrong word, too. Maybe just like they keep their eyes open, you know?
Keep in mind, too, this guy made a good distinction that I thought needed to be made. The one that I had never thought of. He was like, most of these preppers, by and large, are prepping for not an extinction level event. Like in that case, it's just fucking let's run headfirst into this thing because there's no point, right? And that's a huge distinction. Because you're not like, I thought about it too, is like the idea behind a prepper too is kind of that I told you so mentality.
Well, that's what I was saying. Do they need the world to end or everything to go? So, like, I'm in the right place, or are they just in case?
So this is where I disagree with the whole they need the world to end. What they need is for something like Corona to happen, so they can be out there telling their neighbors, like, "Well, you see, this is why Barb and I had the fucking thing." And because if everyone's gone, there's no one to say "I told you so" to, or to be like, "What are you prepping for if you're the last one left?"
Well, and frankly, you and Barb should have a fucking at least a bug out plan. You know what I mean?
Okay, but I mean, when we let's just back up. We know the stats. We know that 90% of people don't have the money put away for like a month's worth of
We
bad
found that out.
So my point, Simon, is like it's tough to ask people to go out and buy a month's worth of rice or toilet paper or water. You know what I mean? When they can't really even afford their rent.
Yeah, nope, totally. Did you see that somebody, again, I guess somebody was working through our back catalog and got to episode, whatever it is, 47, where I call this apocalypse?
You called this apocalypse?
You call this an apocalypse we're in right now?
Well, you don't remember that? I have it if you want to listen to it.
No,
what
I
you're
don't
saying,
wanna listen
we
to it.
are
Just
in the-
tell me what you say.
But you're saying we're in the midst of an apocalypse.
No, I say if there's a viral apocalypse, am I safer at the cottage? That was the question I posed. And Matt's like, no, you're not safer at the cottage.
Either way, this
and then
guy
we
did not
have,
call well. it.
We have a huge conversation. Hey, I didn't say I call it. The people said I called it. Okay?
Sure.
But you've joked throughout the years that we've been doing this podcast that you're prepped, but you don't actually think you're prepped.
I'm not
now.
prepped, but I at least have a plan. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? I'm going to head to a place where I'm able to then
Sustain
and be around a lot less people, you know? So my problems become different at that point. But
Well, I
I'm
guess it's
not going to
different.
be in the middle of this fucking madness.
A pandemic is one thing, but a Mount St. Helens or a meteor or a nuclear doesn't matter about being around people.
Right. I was thinking more like whatever the event is, it's the fallout when people decide, you know, like this guy said, you know, everybody's good at heart, but then when you have to make that decision
Desperation.
about feeding yourself, what does he say? I think Bradley Garrett said it's like after 72 hours, most people, like the majority of percent of people, just that's when they'll rob their neighbor for food.
Yes, the fabric of society.
It doesn't
will break
take
down.
long. 72 hours.
Yeah, but that goes back to Bill's thing too. Like
3 days.
If you're prepping without a gun, then you're really just prepping for your neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
great.
Dude, that's exactly right. Who said that? Bill Burr?
Bill Burr, yeah.
That is so correct.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. And that's why you want to have a gun. And that's why people are so pissed off at Justin Trudeau right now.
We are not all in this together. Excuse the pun.
Who said that?
I just said that.
No, but whose slogan is that?
Well, we want to think we are all in this together, but I just used the we scandal. But
I see. Gotcha.
But
Good one.
if you're going to attack your neighbor, then it's you know what I mean. This idea that we're all together is when everything falls apart.
Who has an idea that we're all together? You do?
I think we walk through the world thinking we're like, you ask your neighbor for help or something now. In good times, a cowboy or shovel or a lawnmower or whatever, just little things. But like you said, 72 hours, all bets are off.
Yeah, you're using that shovel to cave in his head so you can take his wife and eat his children. I don't know.
I want to ask you this too. This is an interesting thought that just crossed my mind. Do you think too there's a part of preppers that maybe it's not so much prepping as it's prepping to get rich when shit goes down?
Well, those guys are already prepped.
I don't think
Bezos.
these guys have any care in the world for money.
It should not matter.
I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about rich. Like, so this guy wrote a book about I think it's the conflict in Chechnya, and he talks about how after the first 2 weeks money means nothing, but a lot of different things become of high value, and how this one gentleman who happened to have like a stand-up gas tank full of lighter fluid, he ended up becoming one of the richest men in the country after the conflict was over, just because.
Where'd you hear that?
It was in a book.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. So he was trading this lighter fluid to people for all sorts of goods throughout this conflict. And when the conflict ended, this guy had amassed this massive. So my point is, like, you think about price gouging. Like, I saw this thread the other day where this guy was pretty much asking, how much can I price gouge without being a price gouger?
Yeah, you're a gouger.
That was it.
I saw the thread.
Yeah, this person was like, this is price gouging. And he posted like the definition of it, and it was like, this is what you're doing.
That question, the fact that you even asked the question implies that you're gouging.
Yeah, you just want to feel morally acceptable at your level of gouging, but it's still, you're doing what you're doing.
But I mean, all retail works like that. We just don't
I get
know.
it, supply and demand. I understand.
No, but as consumers, we just have no idea what anything costs.
I get it.
So we have no idea that we're being gouged. But
Listen, I'm trying to buy 3 mics for us right now.
know that you are.
And it's insane. Like, there's people selling them online for $1,500. It's a $500 mic.
What were you talking about before this? Sorry, I wanted to jump in on something there, and then we got off topic.
If people were, if some preppers were potentially just hoarding stuff for the potential that when shit does hit the fan, they could just be like, even on a gross way, like, hey, I always wanted to fuck Bob, my neighbor's wife, so maybe Bob needs
2 things. Remind me of penguins in a second. But to your question is, I think that there are some like that, just like there are.
And there has to be, right?
Right. But I think the majority,
Opportunists,
Matt, are people who don't want to ever see anybody ever. They've secured their bunker where nobody's going to ever see them. You're not going to get their gold or their rice or their fucking oats because you're not going to know where they are. You know what I mean?
But it depends on the degree that the shit hits the fan. Like, money won't have any value. Like,
well, that's why when he said gold, I was like, who gives a
degree?
fuck about gold?
Well, because gold is one of those.
It's the standard. I understand.
It's always kept its value, right? It came from the time when dragons needed it, because when dragons made their beds. When dragons made their beds, they couldn't have any metal that would melt too easily, I guess.
Well, gold melts
quite easily, so you're way off.
That's
tarnish
weird.
or something like that.
No, there's some reason. Listen, I'm not a dragon specialist. Anyways, back to the penguins.
Anyway, back to reality.
Back to the penguins. This is crazy. Penguins are maybe the only animal that prostitutes each other. So
monkeys too. Remember the capuchins?
Oh, right. That's right. But listen to this. So
are you sure the term isn't pimp?
Well, the male pimps the female, but the way it works is that they need rocks to build their nest, and there are only a certain amount of rocks on the island. And if they don't have enough rocks, they then will go to another male who has a plethora of rocks and say, you know, if you give me some rocks, I'll give you some of my wife. And it actually works to the degree of, if you give me one rock, there's going to be a little bit of sexual gratification for you. But if you give me a bunch of rocks, she's going to go all the way. And this is crazy because we've always been taught, like, penguins, they mate for life. They're so, everybody's tarnished, even the
Where
penguins.
did you hear this?
I think loons mate for life.
I heard it on a podcast, and it's true. I double checked it. But the reason it came up, and this is crazy too, is because it was all about, it was an episode of The Portal, which, again, listen to all of them. It's a fucking amazing show. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
But this one was about sugar daddies and Sugar Daddy University, where it's a program where you can get the sugar daddies to put you through school. Dude, it was so fucked up. But anyways, that was just an example they gave of promiscuity or something. No, they were talking about sex workers, and that came up. Anyways, sorry, totally off topic.
Either way, so we've agreed then that there's a potential for some people who are hoarders to maybe be opportunists.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the majority just want to be left alone. I think that's the whole point of not hoarders, preppers.
But I think now that we've seen what happened with Corona, I have a feeling now there's going to be a lot more preppers that are just that, opportunists.
Oh, for sure. Well, we saw it right away with the fucking toilet paper and the hand
Masks.
sanitizer and the masks and the people are shit, man. That's all there is to it.
It would appear.
Did you see? I was going to say, did you hear? We all listened to the same podcast, so I'm sure you heard when they were talking about that guy who bought the giant bunker community there, 30 to 40 families all living together underground.
It was in a silo, right?
Yeah, some crazy silo.
How many fucking silos are there?
Well, no, hold on. So there was the community of preppers.
No, he bought an old it was an old
decommissioned missile
fallout-
silo.
Yeah, missile silo. Exactly.
But that's different. That's the condo guy. He's selling
That's the
condo.
yes,
okay,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
the other, because there was also a community of preppers that lived like out in the.
Oh, these are two different ones.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying,
right.
yeah. I just wanted to-
The 30 to 40 families were the ones living together.
Yeah.
Then this guy, he was
selling
them for
like $4 million
dollars.
condos. Yeah. I mean, I will say it's nuts that even in the event of like volcanic ash, they have like a redundant air filtration system in there that they could live for like 15 years or something. That's pretty fucking nuts.
How many of these silos are there?
In the States, tons.
Well, in Russia, there's tons. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure in China, there's tons. Like,
It's got to be one or two in Cuba.
it just made me thinking.
Probably just a couple.
I forget what.
Not a big place. So.
And the construction to make these things.
Yeah, but they had a huge missile problem, Matt. So
We don't actually know that though.
they thought they had.
That's
a
what I'm
huge
saying though. That
missile
could all just
problem.
be here. So there might not even be a silo in fucking Cuba for all we know.
No, people.
Or there could be a silo but no missile in it.
Sure.
This posture.
Oh
of the
no,
Cold
no,
War.
sorry. I was thinking more bomb shelters, not silos.
Gotcha.
They built a lot of bomb shelters because they were afraid of.
Sure. I'm talking about
being-
missile silos
yeah,
though.
Yeah, they might have had none. It might have been just the Americans making all that shit up.
You know what's
That's
really
what you
crazy,
meant.
Kamar, and no one talks about is like we talk about infrastructure all the time. And most of the time when we're talking about like roads, bridges, dams, this and that. The US has a huge problem with super antiquated missile silos. Like a lot of their missile silos were built in the 60s.
Or like bridges that are going to fall down or whatever.
Same thing, and they don't maintain that shit, but they still have active nukes sitting in them, which is the
Well,
scariest.
they were
fucking...
talking about how there's like an active nuke in some lake somewhere in the States.
And like all these construction projects, like it's all the secret bases out of what was I thinking? I was thinking of Austin Powers or all those bases you see. Like,
Well, dude, think about Antarctica. Like we know because the Germans were up there. That's because everything was underground.
Antarctica's up there now. It's supposed to be down there. Isn't
Sorry,
You said up there. The North Pole is up there. Antarctica's south. It's down
when
there.
did I say up there?
2 seconds ago, you said we know that the Germans were up there.
it? You just
Oh.
use a figure speech.
Kamar was
I'm
saying
being difficult.
semantically it's down there.
Yes, gotcha.
Or,
Down there? No,
or,
no,
Or is it?
It's like how many polar bears kill penguins a year?
none.
Exactly. They're on separate poles.
No, I did not know that.
What does kill the penguins? The seals. Sea
And
lions.
sea lions, yeah. Sea lions, fuck them.
And walruses.
But anyways-
Walrus.
So, sorry to interrupt you. You're saying there's a bases, underground bases in Antarctica?
Tons. Really elaborate ones. Because the Germans were up there. They were doing it. They were building it.
Hold on. I'm just curious. Under what ground?
Under the ice. Under the ice. They were up there. They were doing whatever they were doing. Something huge. And then as soon as the war ended, the very first thing the Americans did after they stole the Nazi scientists in Operation Paperclip was Operation High Jump. And that's where they sent that crew, a whole fucking military operation to Antarctica, down to Antarctica.
But how much do they have to send there? You know, like the bulldozers, the big, all
Dude,
this stuff to build
I'm
this
gonna
stuff.
show you the pictures. Like,
these projects it blows my mind. I can't imagine how they did it.
the Germans had so many side gigs going on where he was sending his military off to find God knows what, stargates, whatever he believed in. That's probably a huge reason why they didn't win that war. They were so spread out because he thought he was so powerful that he could just send this whole platoon out there. We don't need them to fight. They can just go looking for the Holy Grail. They can go down to Antarctica and just fucking send half of our military up there to build our base, I don't know, man.
Classic Simon rant, followed by a little silence, a shoulder shrug, and then, I don't know, man. Let's move on.
Do what you will with that.
Joe said that he was not surprised by the pandemic.
Well, because he said he had seen Bill Gates' TED Talk, so.
No, he said because he had been to that.
Well, that too. But then he was like, and I saw Bill Gates' TED Talk.
Yeah, so perfect. There you go. The guy who started the pandemic is now reassuring Joe that there's no pandemic.
This just got taken down.
I love that the guy that started this pandemic. What a fucking stupid thing to say.
Huh?
You think Bill Gates started this pandemic?
No, it was a fucking joke, but he's obviously
Yeah,
like...
you two, we were just joking.
Kamar, how do you, also speaking of these construction things, like China built a massive hospital in 2 days. That doesn't...
Yeah, now.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Sure.
50 years ago. I mean,
Well,
And
construction materials.
they were going through ice, which is way easier than like... they were already natural, maybe, like caverns under there, maybe being used by other things. Maybe that's why they were up there in the first place, Kamar.
Well, what I was thinking is maybe
Maybe there
Empire
wasn't a
Strikes
lot
Back
of
wasn't a set.
work to do.
maybe what? Sorry.
Hoth.
Empire Strikes Back wasn't a set.
Yeah, Hoth.
They went there to film it and use it.
Love it.
Love it.
Hey.
They didn't even have to bring their own fucking AT&T's, not AT&T's.
And somewhere in
AT-ATs.
Antarctica, there's all those, you know, those glass radar things they use when they're talking about attacking stuff. Who knows?
Who knows?
Anything's possible now.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
What a world we live in.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
So Simon, did
Oh,
you
yeah.
after listening to this guy, did you feel, because you keep talking about prepping?
Well, that's what I tried to ask before.
Oh, but it was green room and he wouldn't answer.
No. I just said he's been talking about prepping all along. But
Yeah.
Now this guy's exposed many flaws in your prep game.
No, I mean, listen. Hear me. I don't. There are lots of things I'm not prepared for, and there are some things that I am prepared for.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do the let's do the thing that the police psychologist said to do. So, perfect world, Simon. What does your prep look like?
Perfect world. What does my prep look like?
Yeah, like you have all the money in the world, and and you have, let's say you've bought a chunk of land. So you have, let's say you have 100 acres.
Okay.
Okay, and you have all the money that you'll ever need.
Okay.
So you have 3 months. You've set a deadline to yourself. I have 3 months to get this property as prepped.
But I have all the money in the world.
Well, okay, you have, I don't know, you have $10 million, like $100 million. I don't know. Fuck.
So
But are you really going to spend all your money prepping?
Well, if I have $10 million,
Yeah.
just
Let's just say you have 10.
allocated to prep.
No. You have $10 million in your life.
Okay, so I'll
just
spend.
give me the
You
fucking...
have enough to do what you
Thank
want to do.
Thank you.
You know what, Kamar?
Just fucking tell us.
Dollar
Yeah.
amounts like, well,
I know.
if I had 50 more
Just
dollars, I'd
fucking
have a
tell us.
whole
I would build myself like a nice cottage. a decent place to live above ground for as long as I could. And then everything else happens below grade.
Storage containers?
Well, no, and this is why I was asking about the money. If I had the money, I'd bring in a fucking missile silo or whatever, or I'd have bought a missile silo. And
But the missile silo, he said, was only $400,000.
well, perfect. There you go.
And do you kill all the people that helped build this?
Yeah, they can't know about it.
Dude, that reminds me, Family Guy did a bit about that fucking ages ago where Stewie shows up in the Bat Cave and Batman's like, how the hell did you find this place? And he's like, really? Do you think you didn't have a construction crew down here for months building this underground lair in this small town and no one talked about it?
But you saw the documentary about all the guys who grow weed in BC?
Underground.
And they bury all the huge...
Yeah.
That's what I imagine in my head if I do that. Dig a hole, 3 of those... oxygen, propane, all those things.
Kamar, before you got angry and yelled, that's what I was asking. You know what I mean? If I'm working on a budget, if Matt said you can do all of this,
Listen, $10 million
and you only have $1 million, then yeah, I would probably buy a bunch of shipping containers, attach them all with like some sort of tunnel system, and make myself a underground
like in The Gentleman
community.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it is.
But if I had unlimited funds, I would do it the way the 4 million guy did it with underground pools. And,
Kamar just knocked it out of the park, actually. If I have unlimited money, I'm growing a fucking 4,000 plant underground facility.
Oh, yeah.
First thing, and I'm becoming a goddamn expert in botany. And then from there, we just work the rest out.
I only need enough weed for me. Like that's it. If you have too much weed, then you become a target, and people are going to want to come and
Simon,
try
you
and
have an
take
underground
your
layer that no one knows about.
Okay. I just think word gets out, man.
And what do you need for
Provisions.
entertainment? Well, obviously there's food. You're going to have canned soup or stuff that
Just
lasts like that.
try and get as many books as you can, because you're not going to have any power. We're assuming there'll be like an EMP wipe or something like that.
But if you had a generator, diesel fuel or
No,
something.
No, but I'm saying
Generator,
like the
EMP would
internet,
wipe.
you wouldn't be able to have any more
DVDs?
Yeah, I have a lot of DVDs, but I think
But you have no
books,
power
I think
DVDs
you
again.
would just need to read a
And
hell of a lot.
if the world is ending, do you really want to sit back and watch Moulin Rouge? You're looking over your shoulder most of the time. You don't have time just to...
I don't know. Maybe I'd like to
Sometime.
reminisce about what's no longer
Yeah, I just don't even. I don't know if it was in
Pornography.
one of these
a
episodes.
lot of pornography. Kumar, there's your answer.
I don't think it. I don't know if it was in one of these episodes, but yeah, I think it was this guy. When you're worried about your life, you're waking up in the morning, you're doing the chores that need to be done to survive, you're constantly looking over your shoulder, you're taking care of your well-being, your family's well-being, and then you're tired at the end of the day and you just go to bed, you know?
I think that was also David Choe, but you have to hunt, right?
Yeah, probably.
You have to hunt.
At some point you will, yeah.
See, but this is why I don't prep. I'm not with you. Like if what we're talking about is going down, I'm just leaning into the gun. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Leaning into the gun.
Yeah. Fuck out of here.
You're going to kill yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's ballsy.
I don't like that at all.
He can't because he's got to wait for the aliens to arrive.
Well, no, and I also have.
I mean, he has a family.
I have kids and shit. I have people to take care of. I can't just decide I'm gonna fucking, as Matt so eloquently put it, lean into the gun.
Well, you could do the right thing and just pull the gun on. Like, I'm sorry, Halima, you first, then the kids, and then yourself. I mean,
Okay, guaranteed you are not part of my fucking bug out crew.
Well, no,
no, but I mean, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is the prep things. Like, everyone talks about prepping and this and that. You don't talk about, like, imagine the loneliness of potentially knowing. Like, think about The Road, because they brought up The Road. That could be a good movie game. The Road is so fucked up.
So fucked up. Joe says it.
I know, and that's what I'm talking about. He brought it up. Like, it's that to me seems more like the reality that we would be living in if shit really hit the fan. And like, I want no part of that. I want that to be known. I want fucking no part of that.
You don't want to read the books?
I don't care about reading books. I just have no desire to be like.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm going to head out to wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
Where my plan is. You know what I mean? If that becomes uninhabitable, we'll head up into the woods and we'll survive as long as we can, and then we won't. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not just gonna say fuck it right away and just No,
Lean into the gun.
I'm gonna see what happens, but I'm with you. If it's ever a scenario where it's like the road, it's gonna take a little while to get there, you know?
I think it'll happen quicker than we think, though.
Well, and if it does, then I'll definitely make a new decision at that point. But if we're just talking about like, you know, neighbors turning on neighbors and stuff, I think we can, you know,
There's no FOMO.
deal with that for a while.
Right?
Sorry?
There's no more FOMO.
FOMO.
Well, if society as we know is gone, you're not missing out on anything
Yeah.
anywhere. So
What's FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
out.
It's funny because we talked about a last man on earth scenario, like a Tandy, which is kind of like the opposite, where like everyone's been wiped out, but the world as we know it is still
That's
kind
the
of...
Will Forte thing.
Yeah.
So that's sort of exciting.
That's very
Well, that's exciting for like a week, maybe
Go-
two.
Well, no, you travel to amusement park, try to fire it
Well,
up.
and it doesn't
Sure.
necessarily need to be everybody that's wiped out. Maybe it's just most people, you know?
Okay, but I mean, listen, if there's 15 or 20 people left on Earth,
I meant more like maybe there's 1% of people left on
It really depends on what it is. Like I said, from the volcano going to the sun flare to the asteroid
Like
to the zombie apocalypse.
We haven't even talked about like an alien attack where we're only talking about fighting each other. What about when something is actively hunting us, you know?
I'm going to be the guy from Die Hard. Hans, baby. Let me talk to you. Try to sell out my human friends to the aliens.
You're like the fucking rat in the Matrix.
Kamar becomes
Yes, eat my steak.
I just want my steak.
Yeah.
Kamar
Exactly.
becomes the house alien or the house human.
Yeah,
bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck, exactly. In Blade.
But you know how that falls apart because you tell them that you know a lot more, you are a lot more valuable than you are to them, and then when they find out, they lean you into the gun.
They lean you into the gun.
That's really good. They lean you into the gun. Yeah, I like that. I thought there was an interesting moment where the guy said, you know, after watching the effectiveness of this virus in crippling our economy, whether or not it was started by a foreign nation, other nations have now looked at this and said,
This is how you do it.
this is proven to be perfect. And then he said, and I'm sure the U.S. is looking at that also. And right away, Joe was like, no, definitely not the U.S. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I found that. I was like, whoa, what the
I was
fuck
like,
are you
what
talking
is-
about?
Of course they're doing that. Like,
Here's the only problem with that argument, though, is the only way you could pull that off as a nation is if you, A, didn't give a fuck, like a North Korea type situation, or B, you knew definitively that you had an antidote, a vaccine, whatever.
Complete control.
That's it. So, like, because the way this thing spread, you're not protecting your own people. So it's counterproductive to just put it out there. However, if you knew that you could protect all your people by giving them something,
well, and I'm going to go back to the very first thing about this would be population control. And then, like, once you had it down to a manageable number, so maybe taking out some of your own people is part of the plan, you know? You're just assuming that that's a bad thing. Maybe to them, that's like
But it's
getting
also
two
just-
birds stoned at once. You know?
I find the thing when you cripple the economy, you're hurting yourself. Like if China blows up the United States, who are they selling stuff to? Or
Well-
working for? Like it's
But they're not going to do this to themselves. They're going to do it to another country, you know?
yeah, but that Kamar's point is like, I get what you're saying, Simon. You're saying like if we wanted to cripple Venezuela or something, you could just
Bingo.
go and put a small pandemic or an epidemic, whatever.
Exactly.
okay. I see that.
Exactamundo.
Fair enough.
But I
think that's what he's saying.
I
But
see
have
where
the
you,
control.
What he's saying is you can't do it to a major power because you'd be hurting yourself in a way. Like
he's saying you can't do it to China because we rely on China. But
Or
he's
vice
saying
versa.
China couldn't do it to the States because China's so heavily reliant on the States. But yeah,
I
get
meant
it.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean us.
It does work both ways, though, too. The U.S. couldn't do it to China because they make it, as we've seen, there'd be no toilet paper. There'd be
Right.
no whatever the fuck.
And hear me, Matt.
Fuck off.
I'm trying not to say listen. There's going to be a huge switch in, like, really, what is going to come from this is,
Nothing.
yeah, no.
No, it's happened.
We're going to
You
be
think China's a new superpower?
unreliant on China. No. I
oh
think
no,
they're,
we are more reliant than
no,
ever on
I,
China.
I
now.
totally disagree.
I'm with what Kamar said.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Just
I
the
don't
way
think-
no one says boo about China right now. They will not mention China.
Well, they will, and they will. Like, it's starting with Trump and TikTok. and it's going to become part of the conversation. And whether you like Trump or not, it's good that it's becoming part of the conversation.
I think it's too little too late.
And do you see that Microsoft is now like, oh no, don't cancel TikTok. We'll just buy all the American interests. Like, are you guys watching what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh,
how
thank
that
you,
even
Bill
works.
Gates. Bill Gates, just
Bill
be
Gates.
the white knight who swoops in and saves TikTok for the youth. Oh, and then when we use TikTok to get everybody to do exactly what we want, like, come on,
But
guys.
what's crazy about
Open
TikTok-
your fucking eyes.
What's crazy about TikTok is so big, but you could talk to a lot of people out the street. Like, if you heard of TikTok, like, what's TikTok? It's so big, but still, like, and that's like subversive. How it snuck in and is now everywhere, and they're saying they're banning it. I want them to say why they're banning it, like specifics, some reason.
I've heard them. They said because China is stealing your. They're basically using facial recognition, so they have everyone's data.
But also if it's run by the Chinese government and they can dictate what you're watching, and they can then use that to.
They're already doing that in Hollywood, though.
A lot of let's say videos about the riots because they want to get you riled up at your own country. Like, that's exactly that's why I stopped using TikTok. I was like, what is going on here? My wife's feed isn't like this, but mine is just all fucking terrible riots.
Because you had gone down that rabbit hole
At
time.
one point. And then and every morning I'd wake up and I'd watch this stuff and it would make me sick. And then I got rid of it a while ago. But like, I'm telling you, man, that's what they do.
They just give you what you want, or
So
what the
like-
algorithm senses you want.
Like Matt said, some of it has to do with the fact that they're just stealing your info, period. But a lot of it is that they can then use this to sway elections, to whatever, man.
Just psychological influence. And we don't want them doing that.
I don't think we
But
do.
they're doing it in Hollywood. They're doing it in so many places. They're doing it in the NBA. They're doing it in so many places.
Yeah, and I hope really that, I mean, look, this is crazy. It's never going to happen because we live in a society that's so bound by fucking consumerism. But like, it would be nice if we took a step back, you know? I know last week when we had that whole argument about
Heated discussion.
technology there, it's I've been thinking a lot about it because I was wondering, was I wrong? You know what I mean? Was I being unreasonable? Because somebody wrote in to somewhere.
hold on.
And
Let me just say this off the bat. I think you were misguided in most of your argument. Can we be safe to say that? Because you kept lumping all sorts of things into one thing
Yep.
that you were angry
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
Like, for example, I know at one point I had to stop you and I was like, Simon, I don't think your issue is with computers.
No.
And then you stopped and you were like, okay, yes, you're right.
that's
It's not
just it.
computers.
My argument is against social media. It's
Yes,
not
and
against.
I knew that, and that's why I was trying to sit there, and that's why I kept saying to you, I was like, I realize you have a gripe with video games. I realize that. I'm not taking that away from you. You're allowed to have that, but then you lumped that in as well, and I was like, I think that was doing the argument a disservice as well.
That's a separate argument, which I'm totally willing to.
And I
argue.
realize that.
But
That's fine.
social media is really the bane because what branches off from there is this host of us being influenced and.
It's worse than cigarettes.
But here's what I wanted to say, and this is what I was thinking. Okay, so we've come to a point where Elon Musk is out there telling us that he's going to invent something that is going to be injected or put into our brains to connect us, to make us more able to compete. Now, I know this isn't exactly what he's saying, but the idea is that we're going to lose jobs to computers or to robots and androids, and we need to keep up the pace. Like, that's what Neuralink is all about. And fine, whatever. What I was trying to drive was that I don't want, like, the fact that we're even okay with that means we've come way too far, you know? I know that technology has to keep advancing. Like, I guess I understand that, but why does the rate have to be so fast? The rate has to be so fast because we're driven by consumerism, you know? So it's all wrapped up in the fact that we need to spend more because that's the way that our world is set up, man, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but I think you're also, I don't know. I think you're forgetting too that the idea was that we were gonna automate things. I mean, first of all, machines helped us a great deal. When it came to factories, machines could create things at a rate that just like it was like the printing press. Like before, it was a fucking dude sitting there handwriting books, which was insane. You know what I mean? The flow of information was like molasses. Once we figured out, hey, we can just stamp letters on a fucking page, that was a game changer. The same way, once we made a machine sew something, you know, which again is like the simplest of things, but that was a fucking game changer. And the idea was that we were going to free ourselves up to bigger ideas and to think things, you know, just for, who knows, to figure out the issues that we really had with humanity while these machines did the jobs. And in reality, we work more.
Yeah, because it's all to drive more money to do. We're not doing all of this to reach enlightenment. It's not to give us. I see what you're saying. Ideally,
well, no, and I think
it's not to give us more time to make it so that we understand our consciousness, so that we're gonna get further into.
But again, I think the idea might have been not just that. The idea was simply, once we figure out how to make a machine that can just do all the shit jobs we don't want to do, it frees up a lot of manpower.
No. Listen, I get that, man. Yeah. I understand that maybe the thought behind it was right. But look, right now we're like, no, we absolutely have to keep this, and I'll use the machine in brackets, machine pushing forward, because we need automation, because the factories need to make more stuff so Amazon can sell more things. Like, what? Why? Let's and look, I get it. We're too far now. But if at some point somebody could have taken a step backwards and just said, you know what, this is going to come, but instead of it coming in 10 years, we're going to spread it out over 50. It came too quick.
Yeah, but Simon, I disagree. I have to disagree with you, only because, like, you want, I don't know. Well, no, but like, think about you as a person. So, you know, you want to live a healthier life. You want to live longer. Like, you have kids, right? You were just talking about how you have these people you want to take care of, which it would help you to take care of them if you lived longer and healthier, right? So you would need advances in medicine to happen more quickly. The same way, like, we've been listening to this podcast, you know, for however many years. And we all sit here, and that guy came on and was like, I'm going to have people's eyes fixed. And the three of us who still have decent eyes, we're all like, fuck yeah, it gives us hope that when our eyes do deteriorate, fuck yeah, we'll get new eyes. So we all want that. You know what I mean? We all want these advances.
What does that have to do with consumerism, though?
Stop. What I wanted to say is I'm coining a new frame. It's consumerism slash distractism. And then I will group social media, even sports, even video games, like distracting you from what's actually important, you know, like trying to live a fulfilled life. But the one thing with the Elon thing, I thought he said he could help people walk again.
Yeah, I mean, he did. And of course, to Matt's point, the righteousness of some of this stuff is going to be good, you know, but because it's so tied up in the fact that these people who are backing it's just all about making money, and it's just gross, man. And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't make money. There should be. It's just gotten so out of hand. And I guess, look, when you just have so many people with so many ideas and
I think that's the problem with social media, is it's now influencing how we feel, which is shitty. And I think the potential problem with video games is it's going to really blur reality. Like 10 years from now, how much better the video games are with the VR, and then people all of a sudden going to houses and just seeing fat slobs dead, but they're happy because the dopamine is releasing because they're in their virtual world.
And that's why China's dangerous too, right?
I think you're fine, China.
If wars are going to be fought differently now, right? Where they're going to be fought through social media and through thought instead of through, actual fighting boots on the ground. That's why Trump is afraid of TikTok. That's why we should be afraid of things like that have, nefarious.
It puts you in a difficult position, though, because Trump's bad, but he's doing something good.
Forget Trump, because even Biden thinks TikTok is a problem. He's just not.
Well, he banned his
staff from using it and suggested that they all don't even use it at home.
They haven't heard peep from the Canadian government about TikTok yet. Wonder what's up with that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. We usually just kind of follow suit as to what happens down there. Let's move off of that, though, because that...
Well, we should move off of this guy.
yeah.
It's 1
Oh,
hour
really?
in here.
Okay,
well,
perfect.
We're 1 hour.
Yep,
we're
yep,
trying
yep,
not
yep.
to do 5 hour
No,
podcasts.
absolutely. Can I just
We've given the
see
prepper about an hour.
if I have anything that was really of interest?
Can I say what I wanted to say while you look
Please
that
do,
up?
yeah.
Cool that Switzerland has a whole bunker system for everyone, plus visitors.
That's insane, yeah.
And I think Canada...
110% capacity.
I think Canada should go the route of Switzerland. Get rid of all our armed forces and everything. I mean, have a skeleton thing and just make wicked chocolate. Just be neutral. That's what I like to see. And I was just remiss in the whole thing. I thought he might mention the Defen bunker. That we have our own bunker here, but he didn't.
Well, no, because he was, but the reason he didn't is because our government did what the U.S. government did, which was build a bunker to protect just the government.
He was going for individuals in their own projects.
Yeah. Have you been out there?
I haven't gone in it for the tour, but I've been to it, so I know where it is. Okay,
because I've gone in there and like, I mean, first of all, it's gross. Like it makes you'll be nauseous walking in.
It would make you want to lean into the gun after a week if you had to stay.
Oh, dude, one day in there, and I'd be like, please open the doors.
So gray and dark. And
Oh,
dreary.
terrible. I mean, keep in mind too, it was built in the 60s, so now when you go in, it's just like a relic. Like you're like, ugh. But no, Kamari was, I could not imagine.
Oh, and also, do you think New Zealand has some crazy plan? You know, in The Simpsons when he tries to get rid of the trampoline?
No.
Then he tries, the trampoline causes a bunch of trouble, so he gets rid of it. And then, Krusty has a trampoline, and then Homer tries to return the trampoline. And he's got a shotgun, keep on driving.
Yeah.
Because they're talking, everyone's going to go to New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
They must have some sort of like, nah, you're not coming in here.
That's the thing, though. Listen, Kiwis and the Maoris are the nicest fucking people potentially on Earth. I don't think they would. I have a feeling they'd be like, listen, mate, as long as you're fucking all right, fucking come on in.
We'll see.
We'll work it out. If you're a cunt, you're fucking gone. As long as you're not a cunt, come on in.
Dude, we missed all the juicy bits from this, man. All the
Okay, well, bring it up in the
civilization talk. No. The only one thing I wanted to talk about was the black swan theory, because that's something we've been talking about without knowing what it was actually called. And that's that idea that unexpected events are inevitable, and when they happen, we're scared by them. But then right away we say we knew this was coming. I believed in aliens the whole time. That's just so. From now on, when I hear people saying that, I'm gonna
Black Swan.
No,
Black Swan.
Black Swan.
Well, it was
And you're going to point like Hitler?
It was also interesting he was saying when he was going over his notes to write the book, someone had said we're due for a pandemic, just stuff like that. Like this was a fantastic.
But let's
Those are
keep
the
in mind though. Hold on.
synchronicities
But
of,
I was just going
the
to say though, you
world.
know what? You throw enough shit against the wall, something's going to stick. Like the odds that when you're making a thing like that, you're going to interview enough people. I mean, come on, Kamar.
I don't know. I'd have to actually see the note to see
Fair enough.
how in depth it was. But
To me, Kamar, when he said that, I wasn't as blown away because I was like, I feel like when you interview these people, one of them is gonna. It's like that Mel Gibson movie, Conspiracy Theories, where it was like he got two of them right. You know,
Even in my own little world, like just me, I know that synchronicities happen. So I can only imagine how it is when somebody's doing something that's actually important. You know what I mean? I'm sure the synchronicities are even bigger.
I wasn't saying I was necessarily blown away from it. It was just more than going over his note. Oh my god! Because there's some other things that people had said. that He's like, oh, I didn't even know I was talking about this back then because taking in so much information. But for a nerd, this guy was the coolest nerd. Like, you know what I mean? His voice. At first, I was like, oh man, this Poindexter. But
well, it's funny because last week we had a doctor on who didn't have the doctor in front of his name and was like that suave, kind of like, hey, Joe, how are you?
Absolutely.
And then this week, this guy comes on, he's like, actually, it's doctor. Thank you.
but he was so cool and so interesting.
Oh, yeah, this was a great
Did the
episode.
Lord's work.
Can we rate it? We'll start with you, Simon. I felt like this was right up your alley.
Yeah, I give this one a 4.2.
You must have been you didn't even know this guy was a prepper. You thought there was like a fifth episode this week when I said prepper.
I didn't have any clue because
Well, it's a doctor, so you're thinking.
Well, at the beginning, it was very misleading.
Yeah.
But yeah, terrific episode. Really like this guy.
Okay. 4.2 from Simon Kamar?
Yeah, I give it like a 4.5.
Wow.
No, it was
damn.
it was everything, and I don't know if I got distracted, but if he brought it up or Joe talking about it, the First Nations.
Oh, Joe brought it up.
I think Joe just brought it up, but then it was super interesting how they were cannibals and just like this was. I wasn't looking forward to this, sort of push it off, and then I was like, this is I'm so glad.
This goes back to that guy last week though, talking about those biases we have, where someone's like, "You have to listen to this; it's incredible," and then it never holds up. I think all three of us were like, "Oh, doctor," and like read that. I think all of us went in expecting
looks
very
like Bubbles'
little.
dad.
That's it. I think we all went in expecting very little. So for it to be anything, because I think in reality this was maybe a 3.5. I'm giving it a 4. I think reality it was probably a 3.5. But either way,
There wasn't any
good start to the week.
no
How about
fight
that?
talk or
No,
it
yeah.
just yeah.
No,
What
great.
was this guy's name?
Dr.
Bradley
Oh,
Garrett.
yeah, Bradley Garrett, right.
All right, well, let's move on. 15, 16. Posty.
Never have I been more disappointed with a 4-hour podcast in my life.
Can I say this? I'm 100% that you called this.
No, I've just been saying jokingly Tom Hanks.
No, I think if we go back, one of us, and I think it was you, I think one of us mentioned Post Malone. Because you know how you always do the, like, who would you like to see on? Who do you think? I always just throw out random names, so it might have been me, but I really think it was you, Kumar.
I feel I'm the type of guy who's like, called it and be basking it, but it escapes my memory if I did do that. But I guess the conditions they were under here with the mushrooms and him not sleeping, but he's 25 years old. Who cares if he doesn't sleep? Never have I wanted Joe just to do a bit of fucking research. Like, when we ask about, he tried to tell him I'm from Syracuse. Like, he was trying to say stuff like the come up. Like,
Dude, first of all, Post Malone's story is nuts.
I don't know because it wasn't talked about fucking all.
I don't know what his story is.
It's nuts. His story is crazy.
And you listen to 4 hours and you know nothing. Like,
Can I tell you something, though? I'm
Oh
not being
my God.
facetious here, okay?
Sure.
No, I am not joking at all.
Sure.
I legitimately thought Post Malone was 38 years old.
No.
When he said, I'm 25, I had to rewind it like 3 times.
Really?
well, that was the highlight of it because he said, I'm 25. I don't know shit.
Yeah, listen, this kid is great.
Oh, and I don't mean because he was saying things that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought he was old. He just looks like he's been through the
Always
fucking-
tired. He's always, he was on, Michelle Wolf was on and they were making fun of him. Not making fun of him, but saying the face tattoos are always tired. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
on Michelle Wolf. Anyways, and now he's in the studio and like, it's
Super
I love
down to
Joe.
earth.
I love Joe. I love Joe. I love Post Malone. I just wanted to hear about so he wrote White Iverson. Like Joe's never heard a song of his.
I know.
And Joe acknowledges he's talented, and it was such a I wanted this to be an Origins thing.
Here's my problem is how do they do 4 hours of nothing?
Nothing.
That's the real question.
Nothing.
And this is my thing. So you know how they always talk about how comedians want to be musicians want to be comedians. I've noticed that whenever he has musicians on, it's a 4-hour episode, almost without a doubt. He could have the most interesting doctor on who's written a book about the most interesting thing in the world, and he'll be like, wow, can you believe it's been 3 hours already? And they'll be in the middle of talking about the most insane thing ever, and he'll be like, wow, can you believe it's been 3 hours already? This one ended with him being like, I guess we should end this, shouldn't we? It's been like 4.5. Like,
He kicked David Choe out of the studio, man. He was like, we'll talk about this the next. Oh, you didn't listen to the end.
well, I was 20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Look, come on, don't throw me out.
Sorry.
Like that.
No, but that's why you were looking at me.
What are
blank.
friends for?
I was yelling at this because they kept saying a spike of UFO sightings.
Yeah.
It's a flap. A flap. That's what they're called.
The more you know.
Anyways, because they were talking about the Canadian defense minister there, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, I remember. him.
We're way ahead of the UFO game.
Oh, the Canadians, yeah. I mean, he claimed that there's 12 active races of UFOs
Within the
of-
U.S.
of
government.
aliens. Well, it operates like a federation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of believe that. And that's where
I would
Star
assume you
Trek
did.
comes from because, again, Roddenberry sat on that board of L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons, Walt Disney, Werner von Braun, as they were cooking up, whatever the fuck
You
the
stop
future was
touching
going to
that
look
microphone.
like.
For the love of God.
But he asked him where did the music come from? And it's the ethers, their accidents. I don't even know. But he just everyone says how curious Joe is. He was not curious about Post Malone's come up, and this is the most relevant, biggest rock star he's ever had. I'm using the term rock star loosely, but I can't think of anyone else who's as prime time as Post Malone right now. Like he's big, and he's a solo, so it's not even like the
I think
band.
Post Malone probably has more money than Joe.
No, I looked it up.
way.
He's not that rich.
Really?
He's at 37 million or something.
No way.
Well, who knows how
Yeah.
accurate those things are.
That's not why this episode just
Just boring as fuck.
Post was asking him, "What's your favorite vegetable?"
I know.
Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You have like it's one thing talking to Steve Tyler or fucking Paul Stanley about what it was like back in the day, but you have the guy here. He tried to tell him I have a fucking Rolls Royce. What was the first big thing you bought? Like there were so many. Nothing that you probably be interested in. Like you want more aliens or whatever, ancient civilizations. I wanted to know about a rock star's life. Now,
Do you not know about Post Malone? Like you didn't know this information, or you're just angry that Joe didn't ask it, like he didn't do his job?
yeah, I guess I'm kind of angry. It's not Joe's job. They fucking were on mushrooms, just talking shit. He's drinking his Bud Lights. Like it was
How they
just,
talked about the Anunnaki for like an hour is absolutely fucking beyond me.
I thought that, like, I had no problem with any of
Yeah,
that.
of course you didn't.
But why am I listening to Post Malone talk about this? Like, there's just so
Personally, I'm with Kamar. I'd rather listen to Post Malone tell wild tour stories than have him talk about the Anunnaki.
Just
It
the
ended.
come up.
It ended with him talking about the UFC, which he clearly knew nothing about.
I just think, look, they did 4 hours. You could have a lot of both, you know? I get what Kamar's saying. There needed to be some, but look, that would have gotten boring too, you know, if we just were listening to fucking
I
Post
can only
Malone's,
tell that had it happened, but I'm listening for 4 hours. When is the interesting stuff going to come up? When is the interesting stuff going to come up? Oh, it's over. Well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree. I also got to say this, Simon, is whenever he has someone on, like in Kamar's defense, he reads entire books when he has people on. He couldn't listen to 5.
Well, I think he said it like, wow. I think he might have
Gives
said
a
like,
fuck, fine. But like, you know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is this too. He doesn't owe us anything, but
Nope.
like, I think
When I saw 4 hours, I said there'll be at least an hour about this, his come up, and just being a rock star in today's age, and there was nothing.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but that didn't ruin it for me.
It ruined it for me. Well, clearly, my reaction.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was. I thought this was a real shit episode.
The
personally.
only thing I was able to get out of this is they went off about horror movies. Do either of you guys like horror movies?
I grew up like I was yelling. I was like, neither of these guys know shit.
But just the genre.
Yeah, of course. I
do
loved
not.
Michael Myers.
I do not. I have no desire
I
to
don't,
watch
I never
horror
watched
movies
them.
whatsoever.
Yeah, me either.
So we used to, me and my friends used to rent like 7 horror movies every weekend and then just binge watch them at my place.
So yeah, this is more interesting to me than this whole podcast. What do you get out of it?
Comedy. It was
So
never.
it's just this ridiculous.
Oh, 100%.
You're not scaring
None of us
yourself.
ever. It wasn't like it was 4 dudes sitting around smoking pot. Like, oh, dude, it was the funniest shit to me. It was hilarious. Like,
because the dissociation, you know, is not real.
especially
Just-
Michael Myers, the deadpan William Shatner mask. If it doesn't make you laugh when you're high, then you
I
should
had
probably
no
lean into the
idea
gun.
that was a William Shatner mask. I just found that out in this episode.
That's what I got out of
But
this episode.
I think what Matt is not getting here, Kamar, is those ones: Freddy Krueger, Jason, Mike Myers, all those. That's all fun.
Yeah.
It's funny, no problem. Like real horror movies, though, the scary ones. Isn't that what you're talking about?
But what is a
well,
scare?
okay,
Like,
I will admit this.
Like The Conjuring.
I
or
remember.
One of those
I remember. I
fucking
think I was in
ones.
grade 6, and we went to some kid's house and watched it, and I was covering my face with a pillow.
watch what?
It might have been one of the Friday the 13th, or I was actually scared. So
All right.
I think I just got traumatized.
The only
but
one-
sorry.
The only one that fucked me up was Sleepaway Camp, like I said, and that's because of the
Yeah, no, I
chicks
don't.
with dicks.
And all those like the ring, the curse, or like it's just
Yeah,
I
I
just
hate
don't
'em.
get it. But we got to play the movie game, and so we're gonna go with the horror genre. Movie game this week is Nightmare on Elm Street,
Which number?
the first one.
Johnny
The only
Depp.
one. Exactly.
My
Johnny
favorite
Depp.
is number 3. Just throwing that out there.
They talked about it, and I guess they were saying that Friday 13th, there's going to be one more, eh? There's been 12, and it'll be 13 years since it started or something? I don't know.
No, it's not 13 years since it
Ridiculous.
started.
It's been longer than that.
It
Way
started in like
longer
the
than
80s.
It was ridiculous. Okay, well, I don't know.
that. Yeah, it must be like 80. Oh, we're gonna guess.
We're gonna find
right now,
out.
yeah.
I couldn't listen because I was just wanting to hear about one song I put on Spotify or SoundCloud and it blew up, and then this producer called me or something.
I mean, in all fairness, I don't think I know one Post Malone song.
That
And if I do, I don't know that it's Post Malone.
Let me tell you. So a funny story. I worked obviously in bars forever, and like Ritual was a hip hop club, so they played hip hop all the time. I heard White Iverson thousands of times.
What is that song? Do I know it? Can somebody play it?
I'll play it for you
we
after.
Can't play it.
I'll
yeah.
play it for you after. Either way, I'd heard it 1,000 times, and then people started. You started hearing the name Post Malone, and then I saw his face, and I was like, I've never heard this guy's song. And people were like, you definitely have. And it's one of those things, Simon. You have heard it. You just wouldn't.
you've heard one of his songs.
You've heard Rockstar.
Oh, for sure. I like his music. I like him. I like Joe. I did not like this podcast. For the new
It's
listeners,
like a weird Venn diagram where just nothing works. They're all the circles.
I feel like I just don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Well,
Just
you're going to bring something up that. I've got one for you. But first, for the new listeners, it's a movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out the year a movie was released, and then they go head to head for the budget and the box office results. This week we're doing Nightmares on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, starring John Saxon, Ronnie Barkley, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss, Nikki Corey, Johnny Depp, and, of course, Robert Englund.
Johnny Depp's first film.
wow.
I have the year ready, Simon.
Me too.
I have 1986.
I have 1983.
Oh, you guys, 1984. It's always just hovering around,
All right. So
I was
84.
I'm-
you were one what?
1 year old when it came out.
Oh,
I just think it's amazing that people love horror movies, and of course they do. Like, I think I saw Hellraiser, and even then it was like, but I guess I like The Shining, but that's different. I don't know. I guess I'm just a big pussy.
Come here, Cheeks. Come on, bud. Come here. Come on, I'm playing the movie game. You little...
Did you see he did that for the pandemic? He dressed up in a skirt and played Nirvana.
Who?
Post Malone. He played the whole album with Travis Barker.
No, really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool if you like Nirvana. And
okay. I'm ready.
Whoa,
go.
whoa.
I distracted you there, Maddie.
Yeah, you did.
Simon slipped in there and got the numbers right. Distributed by New Line Cinema.
All right, I just threw out some random shit here. I'll go first because there's no way I'm winning.
Okay.
5.7 to make, 48.4 box office.
And I said 7 million to make.
Oh.
And 69 million.
That's hot, but it cost 1.8 million to make.
Oh, Jesus.
I was
Made
closer.
57 million.
Well, I was closer on 57.
By
I was 48.
oh, you
I was 69.
You got it.
It's the same.
You got by. I mean, the one fan who wants the percentages. This situation is what he was talking about. Because are you within 5 million of the
What was
budget?
it? 1 million?
1.8.
1.8, yeah,
You
I'm
said
within, yeah, I said 5.7.
We have a winner.
So we have a winner.
We have a winner.
Wow.
But it's not the dirty. It's not the clean sweep. You've got to get the year. That's really where you go.
Either way, this feels
Way
like
to
a
go,
dirty
Maddie.
win. The problem with these low
Feels
budget
dirty.
ones is it's so easy to be
You
close,
can
right?
price
Like
it,
it's a
price is right at.
well, not really. I mean, we both did the low number. We were both like, had the right idea. I don't know. This one feels dirty. I'm not taking that as a
It's
win.
fun, but people play it along at home, and hopefully you guys got good. But what I was wanting to say, because they talked about Nirvana, you're old enough to remember when Nirvana just changed. Something changed.
I'm
when
old
that-
enough to remember.
I was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been really young.
Yeah, but I still remember. Like I
Just
remember
everything. Everyone.
Yeah, I
listened
just
to Nirvana
remember all of a sudden that was like a fucking cultural shift.
And one of the reasons why, so they were talking about it, and I was so bored because they're not talking about anything I'm interested in. I looked up the number one songs of that year were, well, the number one song right before Nirvana came out was "Everything You Do." I Do It For You, Bryan Adams. More Than Words, and Winds of Change.
Nice. There you go. So at one point, Post Malone says, do you know about the stone tape theory? And I thought, oh
I
my
know
God,
stoned
is
ape.
he
I was like,
saying
this guy-
the stoned ape theory? Like, what is going on
And
here?
Joe did
yes,
too.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Joe was
I
like, this
know.
guy's just so tired he can't even pronounce words.
And then it was a real thing.
I-
So kudos to Postmark Malone because that was fucking great.
Postmark Malone.
Whatever his name is.
No, I really like Post Malone, and I've seen him on other podcasts, so I know he's cool. I just wanted, I don't know. I think it's my fault for having an expectation.
Do you guys?
What's his name? Josh Post? That's it, isn't it? Something like that?
Austin, I think his name is
Austin
Austin.
Post. That's it.
Austin Post Malone.
No, Malone's not his name. It's Austin Post. That's his name.
Oh, his last name's Post.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but he was born in Syracuse. I think his dad, but moved to Dallas
Yeah.
because his dad was an equipment guy or worked for the Cowboys because he loves the Cowboys. It's just
Simon, he put his song on Spotify. That's it.
And it got famous?
Like 100 million downloads.
No way, that's cool.
Joe was not curious
was-
about him.
What was the song?
White Iverson. But you see what I'm saying is like that, like I tell you that and your reaction
Yeah.
right away was,
Yeah.
wow, that's really cool. Like how does Joe not know that or how does that not
Yeah.
come out organically in 4 hours?
And Jamie, do something
God,
back there.
yeah.
When they got up to take a piss, what happened to the editing there?
Oh, I couldn't believe that either.
Yeah, it's true. I guess, look, I like the stuff that they rambled about, so this was okay. But if they had rambled about like UFC the whole time, I'd be with Kamara. I'd be up in arms. So
Well, yeah, you got your Sitchin talk,
Well,
so
there's
you
no-
got to.
yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think it's totally
Look at how he drives this fucking
unreasonable
car.
Oh, you
that
brought it up. So shame on you.
We were created as some sort of like slave race, and then because we are special, we managed to like break free of the bonds
and create social media that oppresses us.
that now oppresses us back to
I
the
love
Anunnaki.
I love the fact that you think that we broke free. What? Maybe they got all the gold they needed, and they were like, "We'll just leave them
or
here.
even
We're not
better, we
shipping these
didn't
guys
break
back with
free.
us."
Yeah,
They'll die off soon enough.
Yeah,
we
there's
don't
no
know
way
about
they have a chance of
maybe
doing this.
they've been enslaving us for so many years. Like it used to be the way it feels now, and now it's actually just happening in a simulation, which is the prison that they've created.
Maybe. So you think we're still
Anyways.
mining gold, and this is just a thing in our minds that they've created? So right now, all three of us are mining gold somewhere, but we just feel like we're doing a podcast.
Maybe.
I'm cool with that.
Joe wants an alien on the podcast.
Yep.
He
Well, according to you, he's had an
said
alien
it.
on
Well,
twice.
yes, Elon. And then Post looks at him and says, can I have one of your beard hairs? I'm working on something at home. And again, I had to rewind it and listen again. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I think Post Malone might be an alien.
I think he was high on mushrooms and hadn't slept in most likely 3 to 4 days.
I'm going to believe he's an alien. I
know what's-
choose to believe that, Matt.
You know what's so funny is like I know I'm getting old because it starts off with him being like, I haven't slept. And I immediately was like, this motherfucker, what an irresponsible. I was like, you're going on one of the biggest platforms in the world. And then I thought to myself, like, what an idiot I am. I wouldn't have slept. I would have been up on a 2-day bender, nervous out of my fucking mind. Even if I was Post Malone, you know what I mean? Fuck him.
No.
Good for him.
I cannot reiterate. I love Joe. I love Post. I did not love this podcast.
So, yeah, we get it.
Oh, I'm with you, Kamara. This episode fucking sucked.
And it had it been any other length of time, but the 4 hours, I was so looking forward to this and thought it would be so cool. But Joe did no due diligence. He owes me nothing. And that's the last word I'll
Yeah,
say.
perfect.
Sorry, Simon.
So now you're just going to let Simon rape our ears
Well,
with Zachariah Sitchin
he
for a
keeps
half
rolling
hour?
his
Well,
eyes
hold
at
on
me.
a second. Like, what are we going to do here? Are
Move
we
on to
gonna
the next one.
Talk about what they talked about in the episode, or are we just going to say no because they were
Well,
on
hold on,
mushrooms?
hold
we're
on.
not
Those are
gonna
two
talk
options
about
we
it?
have.
Let me say this. There have been many, and I mean many episodes in the past that we've spent 10 or 15 minutes going, I really didn't like this. Did you like this? Nope, didn't like it
We
either.
spent a long time doing that.
Well, I'm just saying, I have no problem saying I didn't like this. I don't think they talked about anything of substance. The Anunnaki shit.
But let's just say it's and he said, I don't know shit. I'm 25 years old. If it was Graham Hancock, if it was anyone else talking about this stuff, you have my ear. But Posty's just
Why don't we at least get to some of the things they talked about, and then we can decide if they're worth talking about or not.
Simon, I'll humor you, but we know what you're doing here. And let's be serious. I'm with Kamar. Post Malone is not any sort of fucking, it's just a chance to talk Anunnaki.
It's anecdotal. Everything's anecdotal. Just what you think, and that's cool. You have the opinions and stuff.
But go ahead. I mean, Simon, I'm amazed that you have 4 pages there. I'm absolutely blown away.
Many more than 4 pages. This is a 4-hour podcast, man. Like
where they spoke about nothing.
Yes, they spoke about nothing, but some of the nothings they spoke about were were fun.
I don't usually do this though, but there was 2 4-hour podcasts this week. The substance of the second 4-hour podcast far outweighs this podcast.
My God.
Would you
Leaps
not agree?
And bounds. Leaps
The
and
interest,
bounds.
the stories.
I would agree.
Okay. Talk what you want to talk about.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
Let's just be done.
No, I'm being dismissive.
No. Let's just be done with Post Malone. No. I'm ready to have a cigarette. Let's pay some bills.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. Stop. Sit.
I feel I've hurt some.
Can I just say this? I really like when you two argue. I like when I can just sit back. This is a nice change. I like you being mad at him. I like him being somewhat mad at you.
I'm just surprised we are such an agreement on this, like right now the thing. Like I said in the thread, this was a waste of time. It happened. It exists.
You know what, peeps? Let us know, anybody of the 14 people who may or may not be listening.
I think it's down to 10. We lost a couple.
Do we talk about the episode or do we just say, nah, fuck this guy. Joe didn't do his job. Kamar didn't get what he wants, and we're going to have a cigarette.
I think that was speaking about this episode. We summarize. We talk about things they talk about interesting, but what?
Yes, I totally agree, Kamar. We get in there. We say, Joe didn't do what he was supposed to do on this one. We're angry. Now we're going to talk about...
Can you take your hand off that fucking mic?
Now we're going to talk about what... You know what's going to solve this whole thing, Maddie?
A table and mic
fucking
stands?
Table.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Anyways,
we're on it.
No, listen, I'm happy to talk about this episode. I don't fucking want... You don't want to talk about it? We don't have to talk about it.
I'm just saying, at the end of it, I was like, fuck, they didn't talk about anything. Even though they talked for 4 hours.
You have said that. Like, I'm going to go back and count the amount of times you've made that exact statement. And you're just repeating yourself.
Can you, just real quick, how about this? We will go pay some bills. You can have your cigarette. Can you give me, aside from Anunnaki, I'm just curious, just bullet point me 5 things that you feel they spoke about? Because I'll give you this. If 2 or 3 of them are worth it, we can definitely spend some time on them.
I agree 100%.
How about this? Now that we know that UFOs have been spotted, when you look back...
According to the U.S. government?
Well, it's not just the U.S. government. Lots of governments have been saying this. Just now
Canadian
that the U.S.
government.
government
Okay, fine.
is saying
So
it,
according to government,
we're giving it some credit. But anyways, when you look back on an event like the Battle of L.A., that was when the U.S. The military just started firing on things in the air, and people thought it was like crazy. Do you see what I'm saying? We can now go back and re-look at events from history and be like, okay, that totally makes sense.
It's a new lens, definitely.
Yes,
Everything
a
has to
new
be looked
lens. Okay.
did you get that from Post Malone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they talked about a lot of...
Kamar's face.
Well, I found out about the Captain Kirk mask. That was amazing. You've always known that? Like, from watching that, you knew that was...
My friend,
Captain Kirk.
Simon, when I say we watched all those movies religiously, my buddy bought a $500 replica Michael Myers mask for Halloween one year. So yeah, we knew.
And we also talked about this already, that it was Captain Kirk mask.
When did we talk about this?
He's asking if I already knew before this episode. That's what he was saying.
You said Captain Kirk mask.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is he saying that because they mentioned this? And then Simon said, yeah, I learned it was Captain Kirk. And I said, yeah, I learned that too. And then we played the movie game.
Now
you're bringing it up again.
Kamar's playing stenographer now. Kamar, what was the last thing said there, please?
Oh man, this happens every once in a while. You go to listen to something wanting one thing and get none of it, regardless. It was I don't know.
And then Kamar said this was a 4-hour podcast where they spoke about nothing. And then Simon, in a Jewy voice, said, I disagree. And I think they talked about a lot of them.
How about Elon and Johnny Depp wanting to fight each other? I didn't know about that.
Over a Canadian girl too.
crazy.
No. It's over Amber
It's
Heard.
Amber
Pardon me,
Heard,
pardon
yeah.
me, pardon me, pardon me.
And then
That's just a mess.
And then we found out that sometimes Joe needs to have himself some Led Zeppelin, and sometimes Joe needs to listen to himself some Sheryl Crow. So just
He
throwing
mentioned,
that
he mentioned
out there.
Gangstar in there too.
Yeah, no, I just thought the Sheryl Crow was an
That's a
interesting,
street cred drop.
I can just picture Joe with like 2 kettlebells, like every day is a winding road.
It was interesting how he stood up for the chain smokers. I think there's a thing where artists are always supporting artists. Like it's not the artist's problem, whatever happens, because they got in trouble for the concert. People not social distancing.
I also think he's friends with them. I don't think it was an artist thing.
I got the distinct impression that Post Malone thought he could beat up a wolf, though.
Yes,
Yeah?
he did say that.
Yeah.
he was sure he could.
Numerous times.
Actually, you're wrong. I mean, you're right. I'm being dismissive because he totally fucked up by admitting he has a mountain lion.
He has a mountain lion.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, I told you that my uncle used to have a mountain lion.
What if he dies by his mountain lion?
That would be something else.
But he started talking about it and walked it back. And also, did they talk about you get paid for coyote ears?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's what he said.
But you can't kill coyotes because then
But
the
you can
women
cut
go
their
pop up
ear
and
off.
make even more.
Yeah, well, I told you that. Yeah.
That's how you get more ears.
What is your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli, I think.
What is my favorite?
Because I feel like a
vegetable?
giant
I
and
don't
I'm eating
know.
a tree.
Probably potatoes.
Potatoes are good. I think mine is carrots. Just
I
like
do love
I
carrots.
love string beans. I love potatoes. But I was thinking if I had to have one vegetable for the rest of my life, I think it's got to be carrots.
Carrot's pretty versatile. Especially a
Hold
good
on, you have to have
roasted
one
carrot.
vegetable for the rest of your life. It's carrots.
Well, what would you make yours?
It has to be potatoes. There's a million different ways to make them.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to make carrots too.
Okay, but really,
Yeah, I
what
don't think
about
this-
you, Kumar? You can only have one vegetable the rest of your life.
I
So
said
you're
bro-
going
I
with
said
carrots.
broccoli.
You're going with carrots and bread and butter. This guy fucking sucks. This guy fucking sucks.
Well, you can have mashed potatoes, you can have French fries, you can have a baked potato.
Yeah, and what can you do with carrots?
You can have
But dude, you
roasted
could do
carrots,
hash
You
browns.
can have
You could
mashed
do like
carrots,
You can have
you
mashed
can have
carrot,
baked carrots, you
baked
can
carrot,
have fucking fried carrots,
candy carrots,
You can do them as a dessert.
carrot cake. Can't have
Oh.
potato cake.
Can't have no potato cake.
You can't have broccoli cake. I think.
But I
picked
do
a
like potatoes
loser of a
too.
vegetable.
If I could
And I
take-
do love a fucking pepper.
If
a
I
red
could
pepper.
take 2 vegetables, I mean, I'm taking your potatoes too, man.
But cucumbers are in there too because pickles are great. And cucumbers, you don't like pickles?
No, I hate pickles.
What?
I don't like any vegetable where they stick it in vinegar to fucking make it into something else, and I don't like any vegetable where they stick it in the sun to make it something else.
I like cucumbers
Fucking
because they cut so
raisins.
nice.
They do cut
No, it's
so
cut.
nice.
Raisins is a travesty of fucking nature, man.
Can I give everyone a little life hack out there when you're eating cucumbers? Try to cut the seeds out.
What's wrong with the seeds?
They make you very gassy, but if you cut the seeds out, you're good to go. So you just cut it down the middle, take a spoon, and just fucking hit
I understand.
right out there.
Cocombre.
Why do you hate?
Cucumber.
Why do you hate
Cucumber.
gas so much?
I hate burping after a fucking meal.
Oh, it's burping.
Yeah.
I thought farting.
No.
But it's the end of the world. We're back in prepper time, so you can only eat it raw. It's not a potato anymore.
No, it's a carrot.
You need a fire, right?
It's a fucking carrot.
If you're
Kamar,
in that position,
air bump, buddy, because that's important. The raw version
Well,
of the
you can still eat raw
vegetable
broccoli.
you take.
You can still
it's
eat raw
gross, though.
broccoli.
You can,
I like
You can
broccoli.
eat
I like
raw
broccoli, too.
cauliflower too, but it's gross.
Cauliflower is incredible.
Raw cauliflower?
Yeah.
The
all right.
only raw vegetables I want to eat are carrots, cucumbers,
Peppers are great too.
Peppers are amazing.
red
great.
peppers
Red pepper.
only.
No, green peppers are great. Yellow peppers
If
are
you
great.
like
orange
green peppers, I don't even want to be your
Whoa,
friend.
well, you don't
Whoa.
like you don't like pickles, so get fucked, asshole.
Yeah, well,
The potatoes are problem because of
Sorry,
the prep.
Chico.
The raw vegetable realm.
Okay, fine. As far as cooking goes, potato kind of has to be your go-to. I will admit, I have to, that if we're talking about as far as raw, so you don't have anything to cook with, then potatoes are definitely out the window. No one's eating a
it might-
so
fucking...
now you're really looking hard at my whole carrot.
It might
thing.
be the carrot. Yeah, it might be the carrot.
I don't know. I might go with peppers.
I don't want to say I told us so.
I think you're gonna get heartburn
But I
after a
told
while.
us so.
Eating a lot of peppers and carrots. I guess they all have vitamins and stuff in them.
And
What's your favorite fruit?
my favorite fruit,
Since we're on this
is-
ridiculous fucking filler topic,
a real asshole would say tomatoes.
I was going to be that real asshole.
Don't be that fucking guy.
Curses.
If I can get a really great grape,
No, it's strawberries for me.
I would take grapes and a really great raspberry. But the problem is you end up with shitty ones.
When you
so
eat-
I'm gonna say apples
When
because
you
they're
eat
the
a pint of
easiest.
raspberries and then that moldy one comes
Oh,
at
the
the
worst.
bottom.
Like your
what have I
finger just
done?
mushes into
Like
it.
blueberries
I will
can
say
be
this
great.
though: if you get a batch of like perfect fresh raspberries, there might not be anything better on earth.
We're up at the cottage where they pick them fresh, and you can go to the market and just buy them. You buy like pints of raspberries. Most people just buy 1 or 2 pints. I buy the fucking whole tray of pints. You know.
I
Strawberries.
think it might be an orange.
Strawberries.
Oh, dude, I never liked oranges. They always seemed like.
All the
know,
white stuff on the outside.
Well, they were.
I do
pain
not like
in the
watermelon.
ass
I do not
to
like watermelon.
eat.
I've decided that.
What? Seedless watermelon is great.
Nah, I don't.
All
like
watermelon. I'll swallow the seeds. Who
Anything
gives a
with
fuck?
seeds ruins it for
No.
me.
I was
Grapes with seeds ruined.
Well, grape with seeds. That's retarded.
I was
Ruined.
watching this video of a girl who crushed a watermelon with her thighs, but it looked like she just had a dirty period. But and I was like, yeah, fuck watermelon. I
He's
prefer.
got his
What a
dick
weird-
out. He's like, this is not what I expected.
What a
No, I had my
weird
dick in a
reason to-
cantaloupe because that's my real favorite.
No,
fruit.
he had it in a Smarties fucking tube. But
Call back.
as if that's why he hates fucking watermelon. It's
No,
like, I saw this video where this girl crushed it and it looked gross, so now I don't eat it anymore.
Didn't like watermelon, and fuck, pineapple.
I hate it.
That's my favorite fruit. So weird, eh?
I don't
So
like
weird.
pineapple.
And this is what it's like. You hear an interesting podcast. I don't. You know what I mean? You like your pineapple.
You got
I don't.
you got a pineapple out of this one. He didn't.
So Post, just to end it, because
Sure.
we'll end it here. Post,
Thanks, Simon. We care about you a lot.
Post said that he saw the ghost on one of those ghost hunter shows, and Joe zero fight back. He just said, "Yeah, maybe ghosts exist," and I'm okay with ghosts existing.
Oh, we
Obviously.
know.
But the chance of them finding it on one of those fucking shows where all it is to sell you on fucking finding ghosts, I don't know.
And if it was real, it'd be like the biggest thing in the world. You think like all news, a ghost, proof of a ghost. you
And
know what I
clearly, neither of them understand how ghosts work because you wouldn't see a ghost at the beach during the day. Come on, Joe.
That's later. I
No,
see. It
this is
happened
this
in
one.
mean? He called it
They
back.
But
call
what
it
do you
back.
mean you wouldn't see a ghost on the beach during the day?
You can only see them at night.
No, why?
Because they're transparent.
Ghosts can appear and
No,
disappear.
listen,
you don't know anything.
It's
Matt. You don't
easier
know
to see
fuck
them.
about
It's
ghosts,
easier
man.
to see them with a black backdrop,
Holy shit.
Simon.
I'm trying to stay calm here.
In
No, you're not.
Ghostbusters,
You don't know
in
anything about
Ghostbusters, you could
ghosts.
see the ghosts in the day.
That was some of them, like Slimer and shit. But
So-
most of them were
so-
transparent, meaning very difficult to see in very lit areas, i.e., the beach during the day.
But if it was an overcast day, I think the ghosts on the beach would be surfers who.
I was going to say the only ghosts would be drowning victims or, surfers that maybe got, shark attack, that sort of thing. Because who haunts the beach?
Maybe some shark ghosts. That would be kind of cool.
Oh, no, that'd be a nightmare.
Well, who knows what's underneath the beach?
Well, that was the one other thing they talked about.
Native
in this.
Americans.
Ghosts.
That's rude.
Poltergeist.
The one other thing they talked about in this episode was the ocean. And, oh my God. Exploring the ocean and how we don't know shit about the ocean. And I'm just going to leave it on this, is that maybe the reason why nobody goes down to the ocean is because shit is happening down in the ocean.
Well, it's interesting. Garrett didn't have anything about underwater preppers.
Oh, that is interesting. Again,
maybe
maybe
that's-
because
Simon.
there's too much shit going on down there.
Maybe global warming is a sham. Maybe the water level's rising because there's more and more alien ships in the water. Hence raising.
We can't
Well,
take anything off the table.
I'm just gonna say,
fuck outta
I'm just gonna say that in that Tic Tac sighting that Fravor talked
The
about,
Tic Tac is that's
They-
what they're describing the vehicle or whatever it was.
yeah, they saw this giant cross type thing emerging from the water. That's where the Tic Tac maybe came out of or went into, and just the idea that there are things. And again, they've seen. A lot of Navy pilots has said they've seen things going in and out of the water. So let's just imagine they're just cruising around down there. We don't know that it's going on. That's just a great way to hide yourself. They know that nobody's going down there to check on anything. The only thing they have to watch out for is like blue whales and shit.
Why do they have to watch out for blue
Well, they don't
whales?
want to run into a blue whale. I imagine that's like big enough to maybe damage one of their spacecrafts.
Oh, okay.
I figured they'd just go through an orca or a
I thought you
sperm
had some
whale,
new like
it
blue
was-
whales or CIA operatives that are down there to
Maybe
tell us.
they are subs. That would be interesting.
Did they talk about sushi and Post Malone doesn't like raw fish?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you guys like sushi?
I do.
No, and that's an episode. Do you want to rate it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Kumar. Just rate it low.
Uno.
Whoa. Okay. Wow, you hated this.
It was a waste of my time. I want to
4
ask us
hours was a lot.
one thing.
You can't deny that, Simon.
I can't.
What's your favorite? And I love Post Malone and I love Joe. Like it's
You mentioned that.
It doesn't even make any
Neither,
sense.
Kumar, neither of them are going to listen to this, so don't worry.
I'm not trying to come my ass. I just don't want people to think that I'm shitting on them. What's your favorite way to listen podcast?
On the toilet.
4 hours
Yeah.
sitting on the toilet.
Long shits. No,
You're gonna
kidding.
have hemorrhoids.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean? What is
I
my
think driving.
Well,
I think
I'm drawing.
Drawing.
Yeah, but driving is good.
Driving
too.
for me is the best. Like a long road trip, that's
Yeah.
the best.
When I had a job as a driver, that was like the easiest. Books on tape and podcast, no problem. 8 hours driving a day, fucking
So
breeze.
driving.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees driving is if you have your Carruthers, you listen to podcast
Your
driving.
druthers. Yep.
I'm not going to lie. Lately, for the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to podcasts with someone beside me that's chatty, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Man, that's sort of rude on your part too, though, I think.
No. Not in the setting that we're in, trust me.
Okay, fair enough.
Rate it.
Rate it.
He did. He gave
One
it a 1.
again. I give it a 1 again.
It's on you now, Simon.
I rated a 3.25.
Mm-hmm. I give it a 1.5. It probably would have been a 2 had this been a nice 2.5 hour bundle. I could have given it a 2, maybe even a 2.5. Realistically, I just think like you can't even call it fluff because I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Mushrooms.
The mushrooms I would normally be all for. Sprinkle mushrooms on just about any podcast. This one it just didn't do because he was so tired. Plus the beers. I don't know.
Jamie had some questions you could ask. Anyways,
I'm dying to know what the fuck he's doing with the beard hairs.
I think it was just his attempt at trying to get Joe to laugh.
I'm just joking.
or he's cloning people.
Or he's building himself like a beard.
All right, well, we're going to pay some.
Like, sorry, Matt, just one last thing. Sure. Like the guy from Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, is making the skin coat.
Yeah.
So maybe he's making like a
Or a hat.
A beard.
A beard hat.
A beard hat.
It was funny, though, in the thread when he said Post Malone, you're like, I bet Joe had him tested twice for COVID. I don't know why he gets such a fucking rap.
That
for being
was so funny.
dirty.
For sure.
was
Dude,
very
immediately, I was like, I could just picture Joe sitting there like, the doctor's like, yes, he's negative. And Joe's like, yeah, why don't we just throw, why don't we throw another 200 of this?
Did you watch it?
Yeah, he's all shaven
came
and
in
shit.
shaved head.
Yeah, bald. And
It's cool that he lives in Utah, though.
Yeah,
Like he's
super cool. I love Post Malone. They didn't talk about what I wanted.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, Kumar. I'm not disagreeing with you about that. You say it twice, and then we're good.
all right, we are going to attempt to pay some bills, and then we will be back with the second half. Name and a number, please.
Number 1517, Nancy Panza. Like
know why you
Tony
said it like that.
Danza. I don't know why either. Sorry. I just, yeah. So this episode is like 2 months too late,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
This is the woman he should have had on when Matt was, she's not black, but she would have been the right lady to talk to. At least to get, she was balanced. She worked for the police, but she understood.
Recognized that there was a serious problem.
That's right.
The
So you got to respect her for that. Sorry, come on.
The one thing is she obviously cannot be for defunding the police because that could
Because it's her bottom line.
could be her job. I thought it was very interesting that I think we were just discussing police before. We were talking about how easy it is to become a cop, but I guess the biggest thing that stuck out to me is there's not uniformity in how police stations hire. Like it's all different. You know what I mean? Did we assume that there was just like regulations for how police have to hire, how they have to conduct their evaluation of officers and stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, nothing is black and white, and I don't mean it color-wise.
Good pun.
I mean it like in every state, in every county, in every like
I
things are
understand
different.
smaller stations for sure, but you'd think all, say, cities over 500,000 would have a uniformity strategy for how they.
You can't, and you see that because each state is so like.
Well, that's what I learned from this, yeah.
No, but in everything, right? Like we're seeing it with the way they open up their businesses, the way they deal with COVID. They're so what's it where you stand alone. Sorry, I'm just searching for the word. I keep thinking magnanimous, but that's not what it is. Autonomous.
Yes, they are. Well, I look at it more if we could look at our own situation here, because we have municipal police departments, right? Toronto Police, Ottawa Police, Montreal
Correct.
Police, whatever.
Yep.
But then there's also provincial police. So those are under the province, and then there's the RCMP.
That's correct.
And the RCMP, I'm assuming, is uniform across the country, and they actually, as we learned with the mass shooting in the East Coast there, they are generally the police in smaller communities.
That's correct.
So there's a bit more control over how it operates,
Right,
compared to the America.
We don't have 50 different states all, standing alone.
But I'm assuming here each province has different guidelines for everything.
Well, of course we do. Look at forget the police. Like look at Quebec and them wanting to make rules about what kind of headwear you can wear to work. That no other province is even contemplating something like that. So I know that's not the same, but
Quebec special.
My favorite was Quebec was trying to stop. There was a cop who was a Sikh, and I guess maybe it wasn't Sikh. He was he had some sort of headdress on that has a small knife on the front of it.
Sikh. I think
it's Sikh. Yeah. Again, I didn't want to insult anyone. I'm often stupid and
no
wrong.
need for that.
Point was, they were like, he can't have this weapon on his head, and I was like, he carries around a gun, a baton, and a taser. Like, you're really vexed about the small knife on his fucking
it's
his
because
headdress?
he can wear that when he's not on duty, where he's not carrying his gun around when he's not on duty. I guess that's the point. I don't know, man. I'm
No, their beef was that he was on duty, and again, it's just Quebec being racist.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy. Yeah. Well, they
it might not have been Quebec now that I think about it, but
no, it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Quebec.
100% Quebec.
Chances are. But I mean, listen to her. You have to increase police funding. You know what I mean? It'd be, in a perfect world, there'd be psychological tests every month for every officer.
Well,
so
right,
you need
yeah.
more people to do that, to catch Chauvins before they happen. I mean, that's what I got out of this. And obviously, like we said, she cannot be pro defund the police because she'd be pro getting rid of her job.
Right. But I mean, right away, like take what Jocko said, okay? When Jocko came on, he said there has to be 20% of the time dedicated to training. If you're going to train 20% of the time, you're going to have to do that in shifts. You're going to need more people. You then need to spend more money. Like,
we've spoken about this before,
allocate
though. Yeah,
money
reallocate. They don't need more money.
Well, if you want to have psychological examinations, you need more money.
Back up.
They just need less tanks, less fucking tear gas.
They need more people. And that's across the board. And the problem is, Matt, in some of the smaller communities, they're not spending money on tanks and they don't have any of that shit. But they are going to need more people because in order to do that training...
But hold on. Smaller communities aren't the issue. So we need to stop talking about smaller communities because smaller communities don't tend to have... Smaller communities have police that live in that community that know the people in that community. That's not where the problem lies. The problem lies in more urban. I don't mean darker. I just mean urban, as in city centers.
I think he meant darker, eh?
No, I just mean in like city centers. It becomes an issue because the cops don't live there and they police differently. I don't think we're talking about small communities. Small communities. I could be talking on my ass, but I don't feel they have the same problems.
Well, I think it totally depends on the community.
Of course. I'm sure Gary, Indiana is much different than a fucking...
Well, but again, so those places in the South, let's say, where they are smaller communities and their police systems are infested with racism. Like, you have to tackle those problems. It just gets so. Look, I'm not saying you don't do it,
But I'm just saying, to tackle those problems, I don't think throwing money at them is it, because we've already been giving them tons of money. Every police department across the states gets an increase in their budget every fucking year. So to say we just need to keep giving them more money will fix the problem, I think that's insane. I'm sitting here saying we've given them enough money, it's not working, so let's change where and how we're giving them money, and maybe that'll work. But to give them, again, all three of us sit here constantly and say less government spending. I refuse to sit here and on this one go, well, I think on this one we need to really give them more money. Fuck that.
no, we need to give them more people. So if that means that money comes from somewhere else in their system, I'm fine with that. But if that means that system is already bare to the bone, but they still need that training, then you're going to have to infuse some cash.
And maybe it's just broken right now and needs 5 years of intense, like, psychological profiles on all the police. Like,
right.
you know what I mean? And then it fixes and then builds trust with the public, and then you can defund. But again, it's the verbiage. Like, I don't know if it's defund them, but. And
when she was talking about, like, there's a background check, there's a polygraph, we check all the social media, we do all, she listed, and her place probably does, because she sounds like she's a really responsible higher up, you know what I mean? But it's not like that everywhere. If you don't have a lady like that, all of that shit is probably washed through the cracks,
Even then, though, hold on. We assume that everyone has a social media account under their name and that they're just spouting racist shit on that. Like, I'd like to believe that there's some races out there that are a little smarter than just putting a fucking Twitter in their name.
Yeah, exactly. What she was saying was the first step
They
weeds out the morons,
I get
the ones who don't even think enough to do that. And then once she gets involved, she'll sift out which is, look, admirable, but look, you're depending on people to catch people again.
Because you know who she is? She's Matt Damon's girlfriend in The Departed.
Yeah.
Yes, right,
and
exactly.
Works with Leonardo DiCaprio, and
she's so hot.
She's very attractive.
No.
That's Ben Affleck's girlfriend.
In The Departed.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I agree.
The one in The Departed? I'm pretty sure that's Ben Affleck's new girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Did she look like? Did you check?
She looked like a woman.
Was she attractive, Kamar?
She wasn't as attractive as the last girl I was asking if she was attractive.
Was she as attractive as the girl on that movie?
No.
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you not see that?
She was in very good shape. But what I was trying to say is the only thing is some of these cops are psychopaths or whatever. Like, she got manipulated. Mm-hmm. She got played. So even though they know what they're doing, if these cops are working with criminal minds, like it's just.
So even if you did a mass shakedown in that case, rather, are you even getting rid of those people? Aren't they going to be so far ahead of the game anyways?
I want to go back to what they were talking about on the Shapiro episode when it said if you have 150 cops and 12 are bad, but the other 130 don't do anything or whatever, fuck my math, you have 150 bad cops.
Yeah, I've always said that.
And that culture is the bottom line that has to be changed.
Did you see the Vice thing they did that they put out yesterday? Someone from Vice interviewed, I'm just going to throw out a number, 20 cops on Zoom and just asked them questions.
Jesus.
Like, one of the questions is, he was like, how many of you have witnessed excessive force on the job? And again, small sample size, but every single one of them put their hand up.
What is excessive force?
I mean, listen, they're cops.
You hurting someone?
I mean, just think about it. Even if you leave it open to vague interpretations, each one of these cops, in their own interpretation of excessive force, felt that they had witnessed it from a coworker.
Yes, okay, that's what I was getting at.
I mean, the point is to leave it open.
The word is excessive. It wasn't necessary to be that.
That's what I'm saying. And for a cop to be saying, I thought it was excessive, you have to imagine they're on the job. They know what they deem excessive. For 100% of them to put their hands up is, you'd think maybe even one of them out of.
Because, it's always best for us not to talk about American cops or whatever and try to bring it home.
Agreed.
We have the situation here where that guy was acting crazy at the coffee shop just down the street from here.
Yep. Yeah.
like 3 blocks away.
It's still ongoing. That
No,
trial,
no,
too.
it
Did wrap up recently.
they haven't had the verdict yet, but the closing arguments went. But the point being is, the 2 cops showed up. The guy was erratic, or whatever, and the guy beat the shit out of him with those
those
they're
bouncer
not brass
gloves.
knuckles, but like that. And it goes to what Joe is saying. If they had any sort of fucking jiu-jitsu training or anything, this guy didn't have to die.
Here's my thing: is I've seen this enough. Like, to see a cop punch someone is very weird, unless that person is actively like
The person punches them.
Sure, but all the videos I've seen are like a cop trying to detain someone, and they just decide I'm going to punch this guy in the fucking head. And like, to me, I'm like, that's assault across the board. Like, I just don't get why it's a different standard.
There was a story I read about a former Marine in Russia, went to visit his girlfriend, got absolutely hammered, got arrested by the police, and now he's doing 9 years, and he doesn't even remember what happened. And they're saying he was disruptive in the back of the car. He's going to spend 9 years in a Russian jail. And he doesn't remember what happened because he's so drunk on vodka.
Gulag.
So imagine,
Not really.
Imagine police brutality in Russia. Like, it's not just an American thing or American problem, or I don't know.
Listen, I'll preach this as much as I can. No, I won't. I don't preach it often, but you probably shouldn't drink. Smoke weed. Kamar, think about all the times
There's
you were
not that many
blackout.
situations, yeah.
I think about all the times I was blackout where I could have been that Marine. Or I could have, like,
Didn't even know you punched a cop in the face, and now you're doing 2 years in jail.
dude, the
'Cause
amount
they
of
broke their nose,
Yeah.
or they tripped on thing, hit their curb, died, and like.
Dude, I'm not proud of it. The amount of times I drove drunk, it's incredible. I'm alive and that I didn't kill someone else. Like, it's fucking staggering.
It occurred to me too. That's probably why half the cops are on edge, because they're called in to deal with a crazy guy on alcohol or PCP or whatever. Like, and the one time they went to be kids' gloves, the guy broke their face or
Yeah,
whatever.
he got
Then-
sucker punched.
But
or
she
something,
made
yeah.
a good point. She was like, that's why you can't send me to some of these things. Like, as good as that would be to have somebody go to talk it down, if the guy's crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can have a combination of both. You could have
Definitely-
a social worker
Definitely, you can have a
that travels
combination.
around with certain cops.
and that should be the priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should.
To try
Listen,
to diffuse the situation.
locking people up should never be a priority. Sending people to jail should not be a priority for the government, for the people. We shouldn't want to send people to jail. Jail
No.
should be reserved for the worst of the worst.
Why do they want to send people to jail, Matt?
I know, but it's because of money. I'm just saying that's a whole other conversation.
No,
Especially
but
in America.
but it is the
I
conversation.
get it, but I'm just saying is, listen, we
it
can't.
goes back to the but I was just gonna say it goes back to the Sam Crow, right? Like
Jim Crow.
Jim Crow.
Who's Sam Crow?
Oh, it's sorry. Sam, I'm watching the fucking biker show with my wife. Sam Crow is
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
It's Jim Crow.
Jim Crow, yes. No, but they outlawed slavery and
Yes,
then right
13th
away
Amendment,
put
yeah.
everybody in jail so they would get their fucking slaves back. Like, it's all about goddamn money.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying though, is like we as people aren't part of, well, we are part of the system, but we're outside of it. We should sit here and be saying, like, we don't want people thrown in jail. This isn't something we want, unless you have committed a crime, a true crime. And even then, if it's not a violent crime,
And if it has the words drug attached to it, go fuck yourself.
yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, it's
Like, unless that is has the words drugs and selling to children or something, like
Well, distribution.
distribution, sure, yeah.
Fentanyl or something, that changes everything.
Well, yeah, I was thinking weed, but
Well, that's not a problem here anymore.
not here. Still is in some of the states.
most of the state. Not
I know,
some.
which is so crazy.
Not some, most.
Well, Trump might need to play that card because if he's going to cancel TikTok, he's going to need to legalize weed federally to balance out the young people vote.
Well, he's lost them if he bans TikTok, I think.
Listen, if their economy gets bad enough, they might just legalize pot. You never know. I have a tough time seeing it. There's so many.
Well, that is a great way to start getting yourself out of the COVID hole.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the only concrete option we have for decreasing interaction with police is to decriminalize all drugs.
I wonder, that is true. I wonder if, I never thought about this before, but our government was able to act really fast during this COVID thing with
Serb.
with CERB and making sure that everybody got paid. And I mean, this month is fucking wonky for some reason, but
Well, it's because of the way they started it.
are you late getting yours too?
I haven't applied for.
Oh, you're not even getting CERB.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
What are you talking about? I got last month's perfectly.
Yeah, nobody got last month because
Yes,
most
I got
people
last
got
month.
double paid.
I didn't get double
You
paid.
didn't get double paid at the start. Anyways, whatever. What was I talking about?
You were talking about
brutality.
you were talking about how quickly our government turned it
yeah.
around.
Oh, right, and didn't miss anybody's payment. I mean, some people missed, but
Listen, there were
not like
it wasn't
the states.
perfect.
Maybe that's because we just had weed money at our disposal. Listen, I know it's debt for us.
No. The problem in the States is, you know how the Green New Deal or the pork barrels in the bills? You know what I mean? They say, okay, everyone gets another $600 a month or whatever, but we also get $25 million for missiles or whatever. That's what they're fighting over right now.
Okay.
It's political posturing is the issue.
It's all because it's an election year.
No, I think it's every time that people try to pass something, they want to pass something with it, and they say, "Well, you got to get rid of that to have that." And it's,
Listen.
I think in our country, politicians just want everyone to be.
Oh, it just makes it cleaner. But yeah,
I think it's easy what happened. Our government was like, if we want people to stay home, we're going to have to pay everyone.
Yeah.
The only way this works is if everyone feels like they're taken care of. We can't tell you to stay home and not work unless we are going to take care of you.
That's exactly right.
So they said, listen, as long as you made and claimed $5,000 last year,
Yeah.
you're in, apply. And it actually rolled out fairly well.
You only have two options, right? Like you're either going to, like you said, tell people to stay home and make sure they have money so that they'll do it. Or tell people to stay home and make sure they stay home. Yeah. China style. That's right. But if you're going to do it, and God bless America, but if all the freedoms make it so that some states end up with Florida numbers and some don't.
I saw something that Korea had to lock down again, and they sent every citizen like a huge care package with like Gatorade, non-perishables, like a.
See, that's not that's interesting, but that's not promising that they had to shut down again, because they would have been a country that would have a nation that would have had a very strict lockdown. You're talking about North or South Korea?
South, obviously.
Obviously. So
North
maybe-
Korea hasn't given anyone
You're
food.
Right. Sorry, I just rethought that. But maybe they didn't have such a great lockdown then. Maybe it's North Korea that did.
Well,
the
no, they might have
lockdown.
open up too early too. They might have let tourists in again. You know
That's
what I mean?
right,
There's a plethora
Well,
of things that
obviously,
could.
as soon as they let the Americans back in, then the COVID came. That's
thi-
what everybody says.
I think we're getting super off topic, but what I saw is that 1% of Japan, because Japan's quite low, 1% of Japan's obese, 40% of the United States is obese, and I think South Korea isn't the healthiest country.
1% of Japan is obese. Jesus, and they have sumo wrestling is like their number one
That's it.
sport. Doesn't even make sense.
I don't know if those are.
Did you say we had gotten off topic?
Yeah.
Simon's shaking
Was
his head
that
for the
on
listeners.
topic?
Whatever. he
Well,
was
no,
talking about what
you
we were
guys
talking
just
about.
talking
Yeah.
it, so I said my
no,
2 cents. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought you were veering us back onto topic.
No,
No.
He was just like, well, if you guys are off topic,
I
I'm
got
joining
it.
in.
You guys just
Joining
talked about
it.
CERB, COVID. I said, well,
Got it.
my
Got
2
it.
cents.
Got it. I thought you were trying to bring us back.
Kamar, the reason CERB for me came up was because, you look at all the unrest. Of course, the George Floyd thing. We had the same unrest here, not to the same degree. But again, I think there's a lot of anger down there because people are like, why would I even go out and vote in November when the government clearly doesn't give a fuck about me? I pay all these taxes, and when they tell me I can't go to work, they send me one $1,200 check and then tell me to go fuck myself. I would be pissed too.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm for something terrible. to
Of
happen.
course.
They've got to figure out a way to monitor the mental health of these police officers. I don't know how that happens. And what is she saying, that it's the suicides, like lots of cops kill suicides, but they're not even on the radar of maybe they might kill themselves, and that's frustrating for them? I thought she said that. Like, if someone's in a shooting or an incident, then they go through this protocol of trying to, but if you don't,
They never see.
because a lot of guys suck it up, or whatever the scenario is, that they bear the psychological burden of being a police officer, and then
Well, it's a culture of like masculinity where you don't want to ask for help.
Well, also you don't want to lose your job. She was saying.
Right, because then you'll be off work. But
if you
don't
say-
they pay you when you're on
Leave, yes. But you just don't. I think
leave?
they no, but
Yes.
I think it's because they rely on overtime. Most cops. That's what I think it is. And I think that when you're on leave, you just get
normal
Yeah.
half pay. or
No one wants to
something.
say, I want to be a cop, and then they're a cop for 3 years. Like, this sucks. Like, this really is bumming me out being a cop. They don't want to say that because they don't want to look weak or whatever. Like, it's just all these reasons, and it's like, what I got from this is that we're nowhere closer to the solution.
No, but that doesn't mean that we stop trying.
Of course not. And there was a weird thing at the end. She brought up a study about bias study.
Demon sperm.
No, she was saying that there's a test you can say to see where your biases are. And then Joe was talking about it, pushing back on it, and then she was, well, it's not actually that accurate, but if you do it so fast, you can't figure it out. It was like, I sort of thought at the very end she discredited herself by bringing that up.
Kamar, I don't know if you saw, but someone on the Reddit was like, every time there's a woman on the podcast, Kamar's like, was she hot? Is she hot? What does she look like?
I've thought about that often as I objectify women, but if you were gay guys, do you
I
think
asked
you'd have
that.
the same thing
Listen, I always
on a guest?
Come on.
I just wonder.
I don't look down on you. I always
I don't feel looked down upon. I just wonder.
And I brought that up. You
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
bring
It was
that
you.
up. I asked you the question.
listen. Let me tell the women listener something.
ladies.
If you're a woman, there is about a 60% chance that I want to see you naked. I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to aggressively touch you. I don't want to do anything. I would probably just like to see you naked. End of story.
I like to pick up where you left off. There's 100%.
What a
chance
weird
I'd like
statement.
to
There's
see you
a
naked.
60% chance.
There's 100% chance I want to see you naked. I don't want to do anything with you.
No, no, 'cause I-
100% chance.
well, I
I want to
just-
see every pair of tits on the planet.
No, see, I don't. That's it. I'm convinced that the 40% of women I don't care to see naked.
But wouldn't you want to just see to know for sure?
Just to know for
because
sure.
what if it was like a Billie Eilish type situation? Were we talking about this?
She's
too young.
16,
Jesus
so,
Christ, Simon. I don't know.
She's only 16?
Yeah.
I think she might
be
turn
17
18
now,
or
but
maybe
it's
you're
pretty
on thin ice.
borderline.
What percentage of
Easy
women
there,
do you want to see
Dalia.
naked there, Simon?
Don't make this a Brian Callen thing, all right?
What percentage of women do you want to see naked?
Of age women,
Of age women?
100%.
Consensually, yeah.
Because I'm with Kamar.
Old women.
I want to make sure.
Old women.
I want to make
Once
sure.
in a while, they'd be like, wow, you're old and you're still fucking
Fine,
smoking.
once in a while,
Holy
but not
shit,
all
your
of
tits
them.
hang down
Gotta
to your
see them all.
ankles.
No.
Yeah, and you
This,
don't have to
that, and
look
the
at
other.
them if you don't like it. You don't have to look close.
No.
But
Okay,
if
so
you
we've
do,
established
you
that you're
can.
both 100%ers and I'm around to 60, maybe 65.
You're discriminatory, yeah.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
But it's
At least I
nothing.
can admit it.
It is nothing personal. Like I would never look out to the audience and be like, "Lady." It's just a general statement. You
I
know
have
what
looked out
mean?
the audience many times and said, send me tit pits, so.
That's weird.
Tit pits.
Tit pics.
Give me a nice tit pit.
Do you, men or women have titties? Do men have teddies?
What?
They were talking about that on The Brilliant Idiots, if they should be called teddies.
No.
Because of what's his name there, this guy?
Turkey tits?
Who's this guy?
He can make his tits go up and down.
Is there only one guy?
You
Oh,
know who
Terry
I'm talking-
Crews?
Terry Crews, thank
Gotcha. I guess we're done with
Yeah, we're done. We're
absolutely.
Done. Rate it.
Nancy
This one was
Pelosi or
so
Nancy
fucking boring.
Peranza.
I was going to say
Like
joking
I
and
said,
Nancy
2
Pelosi.
months too late
Sure.
for Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my god! I just crushed that joint on my leg. Like, what am I, a fucking amateur?
She did listen to her though, I think had me develop more, a little more empathy for police officers and just the stress of the job.
I think, like you said at the beginning, I don't know if we can ever get a true story from her because that's her job. So this might have been a great time to have the counterpoint on there as just a balance.
I'd watched The Departed.
So you knew.
No, I'd watched The Departed rather than listen to this podcast.
You know, the whole, like, it's a stressful job thing, again, you don't have to take it. There's 100 other jobs out there. You know what? Crab fishing.
But we
need
need people to
people.
take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
If everybody says that, then...
Well, I'm just saying, you know what you're getting into when you sign up. So
But that's... Okay.
Not necessarily. If
True.
you're under 25 years old, you don't even know who you are when you're getting
But
into it.
it's like the military. Yeah, you know what you're signing up for, and then you get over there, and it's way more horrendous than they could ever tell you. That doesn't diminish the
so
fact
then you
that
admit you
you're
don't
now-
know what you're signing up for.
Well, the same way that then you don't know what you're signing up for
You don't know
police.
till you know.
But that's what I'm saying is you
same
don't know
thing.
what you're signing up for. So, I mean, I just...
No, but you just said you do know what you're signing up
Well,
for.
you go in saying to yourself, this is going to be
Assuming.
stressful. I'm going to, you know what I mean? If that's your assumption, then when it's extra stressful, you should be prepared for that.
But
is
you
my
may
point.
not know your limits of stress till you are forced them.
Fine.
That's also
my
true.
point, though, is then you quit that job. You don't go and take a life or beat the fuck out of someone.
of course. And maybe you should know that before you become a cop, and that's why you do the training. You have to do the 2 years so that it breaks you or it doesn't.
I was thinking because she was talking about ride-alongs, there should be mass ride-alongs all the time. So the public, a lot more of the public knows what police go through, and the police have a witness there all the time.
What about the what was the camera? Oh, what do you think about the live feed? They wear cameras all the time, and those cameras are a live feed.
On YouTube, yeah.
You
Not
can
feasible.
You can tie in, if
Why
you have a guy's badge number, you can say, I want to look at badge number 6458. You do it, and boom, you have his camera up.
It'd be
if
like
he's
that
on
show.
duty.
It'd be like that show that was on Global. Where
I think that's
It was just a
amazing.
car driving through the city all night.
I told you, first of all, it's just not feasible.
Why
There's
is that not feasible?
There's so many cops. The live feed of that, as far as servers is concerned, you might as well, whatever budget we were talking about for cops, you might as well,
YouTube,
quadruple it.
Well, this would
Amazon,
solve-
and Google have to step up and be a part of that.
This
to make
would
the world a better
solve
place.
all the problems.
Let me also tell you this. I saw one the other day. This guy had, so they went back through this guy's body cam footage, and he had planted drugs on like 150 different people. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I guess on one hand, you're like, the body cam kind of did its job because they were able to go back and retroactively say, oh, he planted drugs on, X amount of people. But like the damage was kind of already done. Like they have video of this one woman on the body cam.
Yeah.
She's like a 60-year-old woman. And she's like pleading on the phone. She's like, I don't get it. He pulled me over. He found this thing that I've never seen. He opened it up and there's meth in it. And I've never smoked meth. And now I'm going to jail.
Lifetime accountability would mean that you could have somebody on the other end. So when something was going down and there was a question like that needed to be answered in real time, it could be going on.
I agree.
You know
but
what I mean?
Let me,
That's brilliant.
my big point though is like, this guy planted drugs on hundreds of people knowing there was an active body cam on him. So, I mean,
Okay, but there's going to be that. There are fucking psychos out there, man. And we're
Okay,
going to have
fair
to
enough.
get rid of those guys in a different way. We're just talking about a way to make everybody accountable. And by making everybody accountable, you're going to make people better at their jobs.
again, I think there's cheaper and easier ways to make everyone accountable. That's all. Like a civilian review board is a great start. And the cops, but just think about it. The cops push back on that enough.
Yeah,
you know, like
what
I
about-
totally hear you. All I'm saying though, Matt, is the difference there is, again, we're kind of leaving it up to like the human to decide. This way, it's just all out there. Everybody knows.
Truck drivers, they get a bonus if they have no accidents or whatever. There should be like a holster bonus.
For never pulling your gun.
You don't pull your gun, you get this. Just as an incentive to not go there the first.
Or how about when they pull their gun, the second they pull their gun, that triggers the live feed to go on.
I think that's how it works right now.
No, but live up to the minute so that somebody is then watching from the home
Like the
base.
service,
like the captain.
the doctor was talking about.
Right, exactly.
Don't shoot him, just talk him down. Yeah.
Exactly. So they would then say, put your gun away. That's scaring this guy.
Put him in an
obviously
armbar. Put
the
him in an
police
armbar.
can't
Come on,
figure
man.
that
You can
out
do
on
this.
their
Call
own
for
because they're
backup.
in the moment. You have to have that guy in your ear talking.
a little angel.
It's good, man. We're there.
we aren't. But I
We're
like where
close.
you're going.
We're close.
Sure, whatever.
Let's move
Hey,
on.
it's thought ideas.
Let's move on. Agreement. We have an agreement.
Half agreement.
Have agreement.
Simon, you want to rate it?
Yeah, I give this one it's unfair. She did a really fine job. I'd give her a 3, but I actually give the podcast a 2. It was boring. It was too late. And yeah. So there you go.
I give it a 3. Kamar?
Yeah, I give it 2.5 because it's just sort of weird. Someone have a discussion with defund police with someone who can't be defunded or is biased towards it. But I mean, they
Yeah, but
acknowledge
Joe
that.
doesn't want to defund the police. So
Nope.
that's why he would have her on because it strengthens his whole.
Again, it's the verbiage. If there's you said defund police, or it's reallocating resources. I think it's the language that's troubling Joe.
It's
the most.
just Joe wants it to be better, whatever that means,
Sure. Anyway, let's move on. Last one.
All right.
Is it 15-18?
It is. Yeah, that sounds about right, Matty.
He's getting good.
David Choe. The return after 5 or 6 years. David
Did you watch
Choe.
it?
No, I wish I
He
had.
looks
though.
fucking insane.
He
With
looks like a
his yellow
capuchin
hair.
monkey.
Long hair, long wispy beard. Like,
Yeah.
He's amazing.
You know what? He is insane. Like in the most positive. Like he's.
See, here's the thing is it's weird that you just said that because I had this conversation with myself a couple times during this podcast about I was like, so what is crazy? Like, what is crazy to me? Because I thought about it and I was like, I think he's actually so self-aware that he can't be crazy.
I was
He's
just going to say that. He cannot
self-aware.
be crazy. No crazy person is that self-aware because crazy people, if you say to them, are you crazy? They're like, no.
Yeah.
But it's like using crazy or insane as a pejorative.
Well, that was it.
It's
It's
not
like
using it that
well,
way.
Way to go, Kamar.
I mean, I just looked at it like I was like, to me, he's not. I mean, he's eccentric for sure. He's maybe out there would be words that you would use. Again, not in the pejorative, as Kamar would say. I love this fucking guy.
He's good crazy.
I just think because I think to myself, like I was thinking this week before this podcast, just in a few interactions I had in the world, I was like, people are fucked. People are so fucked. And I think the biggest problem people have is they're so unaware of the world around them. I think so many people live in a world where it's just them.
We had this conversation last week where we were talking about friends, or the week before. And I was saying I can't be friends with people who are just like so far removed from reality when they're like bold-faced telling you something and they're lying to you or to themselves even more. That's better, right? Because they're not trying to lie to you. They just are so used to lying to themselves about what the fuck is going on that they don't even know what's true anymore.
Do you guys follow my Instagram?
Well, yeah.
You're not on it.
I get the weather. Is that what you mean?
No, I never see his posts. But then I was watching this, and then
David Choe.
He's posting, and I follow him, and I don't understand why.
I never get them, and there are so many people I follow. I never get their shit. I only get the same like 50 people all the time.
Yeah.
How many do you follow?
Like thousands,
Well, that's the problem.
or
Too.
no, not thousands, but a lot.
See, because I only follow a few hundred. I follow less people than follow me, I think.
No, but I'm with you. I only see 15
There's something
posts or
super
something.
fucked up with the algorithm.
I don't know if
for
he's being
Instagram.
shadow banned, but I was just.
Well, here's the weird thing. He owns a huge portion of the company,
of Google.
of Facebook. That's how he got rich. So it's odd that they would fucking shadow ban him.
No, I don't. I said I
yeah.
don't know if it's shadow banning. I just never see his
No,
posts.
there's just something fucked up with the algorithm. I agree with you.
Well, I will say this.
I've never gotten one of
Hold on.
his,
I
and
believe.
follow him.
I
Maybe if
believe.
you like all his posts, then they'll start coming up more.
Well, no, there's that button you press up top that show. There's some setting you have to do on everyone's. I remember people were posting a while. Anyway, I believe Simon. He's had a lot of problems too, where a lot of his stuff has been flagged.
Yeah, right.
Just because
That's
the
true.
DVDSA stuff.
Yeah.
The Choe show. Like I don't know. That could be.
And bear in mind, during this podcast, he's still worth $300 million.
300 million.
Yeah.
Way to go, buddy. So
That's from one piece of art.
This podcast was crazy, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
But like I was saying before, in the hall of Joe Rogan, great guess, he is up there, man.
This guy's
His
top
two
five.
first appearance were like
He's a realist. He's a realist person.
incredible.
But let's talk about the juxtaposition of those appearances to this one, because this is a totally
totally
different
that's
appearance.
Why I think he's so sane, Matt, is because he's basically telling the same stories,
but from a different viewpoint.
and he's able.
He's the most vulnerable in this one.
He's able to
with that?
say,
It's
Would you agree with that?
he
"I
cried.
was crazy then, and I'm not now."
I don't even know if he was saying I was
He's
crazy
still
then.
working
I
through
think
it.
he's
He's
just
just
saying
working
it's, this
through
is
it.
my trip. This is just who. This is what I'm going through.
I think he can acknowledge that some of the things he did back then, he wouldn't do right now.
He's doing
Yeah,
it for
but I don't-
attention. He doesn't even know what he's the ultimate
He was
For a
doing
cliche,
it for attention.
tortured artist.
Simon, one of my like tests for people's sanity is once you hit like your like mid 30s, anything after that, if you're one of those people that's like, I have no regrets, I am automatically like, you're a fucking psychopath and I hate you.
Well, they're just lying.
Or that too. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can get to this point in life without saying there's a few things that I wish I could go back and change.
Oh, I'm not saying he's saying that.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm saying everything makes you who you are, of course. But obviously you have to look back and go, I did some things wrong.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And all I'm saying is with him, I think, of course.
I think people who would look back on their life where they clearly fucked up
and would be fine with it.
and would be like, I didn't fuck up. I don't even know what you're talking about. That's not even in my lexicon.
Yeah. Or even just would be like, I also hate the cop out of like, well, again, it's how I got here. It made me who I am today. I just think that's a gross. You can still be who you are today without being a piece of shit at some, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's just, I regret stuff. I'm sure you regret stuff. I know you regret stuff. I think it's a natural thing.
He is who he is, though. The only thing is that he's so, because he said he's gone to therapy or whatever. He's now, while he's just talking, he's working on himself and the self-censoring. It was really like difficult. Like, don't say it that way. Like,
Yeah. No. I agree. This wasn't his best. This was his worst.
just flow.
Yeah, as far as like a freeness to it, but it wasn't. It was still great.
It was a
you know
great
what I mean?
pod. He was just the most self-conscious I've ever been.
You felt like he was self-editing at points.
Well, he was.
But maybe he should be always doing that.
Well,
you know?
remember he was saying the German guy's going to fuck the black chicks. I mean, he was going to try to fornicate or whatever. Like it was evident.
The weirdest thing to me is this: do you think he had the same level of nervousness the first two times he came on and was just like fuck it and played through it?
No, it's the new him.
No, I think he was. Was he never a drug user?
Yeah, he's done it all.
Well, what do you mean by drug user? I don't understand that.
No, like was he ever like addicted to?
Was he a drug addict?
Yeah,
I don't
an
think
addict.
so.
No, it's sex and gambling.
Yeah.
I think he did drugs too.
What did the Ghost on the Beach shirt look like?
I only saw the shirt he was wearing.
You
I
know,
didn't see the-
it looked just like
Oh, okay.
the one he gave Joe.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one he gave Joe.
Almost identical.
What was it?
Can you describe that? It was like
It's a classic David Choe fucking painting just on a shirt.
Oh, it's a white shirt with some pink in it, some yellow, and
But
then
did he paint a ghost? Like,
ghosts. I think there might have been a fish on it. Like it was.
I'll have to check it out. I was trying to find it. I couldn't.
Well, at some point, I saw a comment. Joe should have put it on. I think that really would have. Because what was he saying? He was up all night looking for outfits and stuff.
And I bet that, like, who knew that he was so, like, sensitive that could affect him?
Yeah,
But maybe that did. Maybe Joe not putting the shirt on, like, fucked him up somehow.
I remember when we did the throwback on him, and then I was like, rediscovered David Choe, and then I went down the rabbit hole, started listening to his podcast, and then he had the one with, who's his good friend, David Lee or
Eddie Huang?
Eddie Wong. Sorry, no
I
disrespect.
don't know, one of those, yeah.
And he had a total breakdown about Anthony. They were talking about Anthony.
That's right,
Bourdain
yeah,
again.
yeah.
And so from that moment, I've always known. I'm not going to say he's a ticking time bomb, but he's really emotional and really cares too much almost.
Did you see the painting he did of Joe?
That's all like fractures or whatever. Yeah,
It's fucking cool.
everything
man.
he does is cool.
It's
His
really,
Bourdain painting
It's
is
really
great.
cool. Yeah, no, but this one of Joe is like, it's very cool.
He's like overpainting though. That's what I sort of got for this. Like I know how to paint now. Like he's constantly challenging himself and pushing himself. And you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. I think the only thing that can save Dave from himself is if he were to have a kid and right the wrongs that happened to little David in that way. Like because he's just, what hasn't he done? He's hitchhiked around the world. He's fucked all the girls. He's painted all the pictures. He's made all the money. He's taken all the risks. And like he said, he's constantly rewarded for bad behavior. Like the only thing that could wrangle him in is caring for another soul or something. You know what I mean? And not saying he's going to do that, but
What do you think this guy's lost gambling?
more than I've made.
Oh, that's a given. That's a given. I'm not asking that.
Do you think he's won or lost more money gambling?
That's not the question. No, because listen, I'm sure he's won it. I know before he made Facebook money, I read tons of articles about him gambling. Like I read he won a fucking Cadillac in a night playing poker. So before he was literally 100 millionaire.
But you just think he stopped giving a fuck once he got like the
Well,
fuck
no,
you money?
I'm sitting here thinking like, what level of gambling do you get to when you already have a gambling problem and you have $300 million of Facebook money?
He stopped giving a fuck when he survived the Congo.
What a crazy fucking story that was.
That's the crazy story if you have your rock above your head.
That he was going to kill
about
the
to kill
German.
someone. Well, the German guy sounded like a piece of shit. He was probably, I'm sure that German guy was on a sex tourist and was not checking ID cards.
Maybe the guy was never actually doing that, and David Choe
It's all
had
just in
just
his
gone
head.
fucking mental,
Well,
like fucking Castaway.
I think if you're not from there, everyone goes, it's jungle fever. Like just at night, the fact that it's louder than in the day. And
I couldn't.
Well, it was so weird when he was talking about how he was doing the podcast that never got released, where he did the one where he was
Many
just
episodes.
talking
his
in
own
tongues.
kidnap victim. So he wore the thing and had to talk
Too
through
intense,
the thing.
too
Yeah.
intense.
Had
And
a
then,
butt plug in his mouth for the whole fucking.
for the dude, like he's so fucking weird.
The best is when he's doing he does it. He's talking to the mic and Joe's like, yeah, no, please stop.
Yeah,
I get
we
it. Yeah.
we get it. Yeah. And then when he makes Joe talk in tongues, that was very awkward.
Yeah.
And I was trying to push Joe to do a special in tongues.
But so very interesting moment in this podcast. Very telling moment. Where where protest speaks volumes. Where he accused Joe of being an alien.
I don't think I remember that.
You don't remember that.
Half the planet could be aliens, man.
Joe was like, no, definitely. I'm definitely not an alien. I'm 100% not an
That's
alien.
totally what a fucking alien would say.
Of course.
As he reeks of Axe body spray.
I thought it was really funny. He was like, Joe, I think you're an alien. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say before I forget is they talk about Anthony Bourdain, and Choe has a breakdown,
Yeah, that
gets
was
really
hard
emotional.
to listen to.
But what's worse is, and this is a disservice by Joe's team, I think, they made that a clip. So you can just go, David Choe talks about Anthony Bourdain and just see it. You have to listen to the whole thing and earn that.
Because
earn his respect and take the time to go down the road. You don't just click on and watch, oh, he's crying. Like,
Joe decides every clip that comes out. No clip
No
of
way.
the Joe Rogan
No
show
way.
comes out without Joe's.
You think so? I don't think so.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, sorry.
You did say it more like a statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was like
There was
giant
no question mark on there.
I
Now
do
there
not
is.
think so. I think they've had enough chemistry. You guys know what's good. Put this together.
So then that's super lame. I don't like. No,
Well,
but,
it's just
but
clickkamey.
sorry,
That's
what
all
I'm
it is.
what I'm
But
at.
just for the
Kamar,
fucking wrong
you're
reason.
missing what I'm asking. Do other people besides the Joe Rogan team have the ability to put out clips, or is it only?
No, it's only Joe's team.
That's the
That-
only clip.
Kamar.
That
Yeah.
was an issue.
That's super.
Kamar.
lame.
Was an issue.
That's
Hold on.
super
Hold on.
lame.
I will say this. It's not labeled David Choe cries.
like a bitch, but
Oh,
Well, no, but hold on. It just
Whoa.
hold on. It's labeled.
but
Wait, just hear me out. I get what you're saying, and I'm on board. But just devil's advocate, Diablo Avocado. It's just labeled David Choe talks about Anthony Bourdain, which
Yeah.
is a section, which is a clip on the show. I would consider it one
so
of the more
it's not
poignant.
clickbait.
That's what I'm saying. It's not clickbait.
Okay.
Watch this guy cry.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
Okay.
You're,
left a bad taste
you
in my
have
mouth.
fake news going.
No, I'm saying if you want to see all of David Choe, you've got to go through the whole thing. You can't just.
But I mean, Kamar, I would even then argue that you'd have to go back. You have to actually earn the whole thing. You have to go back and listen to the first.
In his situation, in the spirit of how he just does crazy stuff, yeah, take this ride. Because the first half hour, I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Because he was like editing himself of being totally vulnerable and saying, I'm nervous and all this. And throughout the show, the crazy stories. And the other clips are like, David Choe gets lost looking for dinosaur in the Congo, 28 minutes. David Choe talks about when he got addicted to Warcraft 2 or whatever. Like, they're substantial. This is just that. And I just, whatever. It bothered me.
No, fair enough. I mean, listen, I never thought about it till you mentioned it. When you mentioned it, I give it some credence, but I'm not as steadfast as you.
Is
in
that
your-
the most egregious thing ever?
I know, I get- listen,
unforgivable.
I know.
You know the story he told about, I guess it was in Louisiana maybe, where the guy
He just said down south.
down
deep
south. No, I think he said where
think he
it
did
was
say-
at
yeah.
the end.
The
I think
hitchhiker
yeah,
almost.
I think that at the end of the story he said Louisiana. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Not important. Maybe you're right.
Or Mississippi. Whatever. you're right.
I could be wrong. No, you're probably right. Come on. I'm probably mistaken.
Oh my God! Can we get to it?
Canadians, so polite.
So that story, my friend traveled through Utah. They were on a bike trip.
Yeah.
And he has almost the exact, like I swear to God, as Choe was telling this story, I was like, holy fuck, what is going on here? Almost the exact same story. But
You
that
know
happened
Utah's
to them
not in
in
the
Utah.
South, right?
No, I realized
Okay,
that.
just making sure.
Just it seemed like a play from like a fucking university or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, weird story.
I think I told the story on the throwback, but I hitchhiked from Prince George to Vancouver, and it took like 2 trips sort of get like a third of the way there, and then finally one guy picked me up, and I think he was into me or something. He was feeding me cigarettes. It was just too nice and too convenient, you know what I mean? But I never felt threatened. I was like 22 and fit. Like,
Did he tell you he was going to rape you at the end of it?
no, I don't have that sort of.
Can we just jump back to him with the rock for 1 second?
Sure.
Because he said he was going to kill him and then eat him.
No one would know.
That was part of it.
David, no one will know.
The eating him.
Can I just tell you too that that's actually they can throw you in jail for saying I was going like I had a plan to kill. That's conspiracy to commit murder.
Maybe he canceled himself.
Well, 10 years have passed too. Doesn't that count?
No, I don't think there's no statute of limitations on murder or
Do
rape.
they have to find this German guy first?
I don't know. Well, first of all, he's not dead.
To corroborate that this actually
Corroborate?
happened,
I
because
don't
they're
know.
just making up.
Yeah,
that
that's
he's
true.
gonna kill
Yeah,
a
it's
guy.
all just hearsay.
How about the
I'm not trying to get David Choe thrown in jail, by the way.
How about the scientists stealing the poop of the Hadza tribe because it has the biome in it and they take it back and
They're Supermen
it's crazy.
They'll
With
get-
giant cocks apparently. Oh no, that's the pygmies.
because they don't wear underwear.
No, it was a Hadza.
But they don't get stung by bees. Like they're superhumans in that environment. They'd probably wither and die.
Well,
in
he
the
kept
February.
saying he wanted to make them into supermodels.
Because they're big cocks.
No, because they had great bodies and
Oh,
they were
okay.
very beautiful.
fit as fuck. There's no obesity there, and I wonder what the COVID levels are there.
Oh fuck, the hunting the baboons, like that was crazy. And he put the GoPro on the dog.
And just when
Jesus.
and he kept referring to baboon as a guy,
Well, because they probably look like little humans.
but he could tell the baboon
It's
was
sitting
like,
there smoking a cigarette.
"Get the dogs away from me."
Dude, they have them stealing children
I
on
know.
tiny little motorcycles. Like, no, that was crazy.
But
that
it's-
must have been crazy.
And it's so weird. No social justice warrior, cancel culture is going to go like it's their survival. This isn't like a dentist who goes kills a lion or whatever.
And then the one who does the kill gets to eat the cock and balls,
Why not?
which was like, what the fuck is going on here?
That goes down.
And then they all eat the brains just to give themselves prion disease, And David Choe eats the brain.
He said he tasted it. I don't.
Yeah,
think
it sounded like
he.
he didn't really eat anything. He was like, I'd always sneak off and eat my Clark bars. I had a lot of Clark bars. Was it Clark bars?
Oh, it's one of those bars.
kept saying
but
something
I imagine those tribesmen or whatever could eat something here that would make them sick. You know what I mean? Where everything, if you were there, it would make you sick. Do you guys watch the Vice show of him looking for the dinosaur?
I've never seen it. I'm gonna watch it though.
So-
It sounds like a fun one.
Well, no, it's very depressing because no, he shows them going to the village and they just get him wasted on like basically rubbing alcohol. And he's fucked, and they bring out some dude with a garbage bag on him, and like, here's a dinosaur.
That's
he's-
what they do to David Choe.
Well, watch it for yourself. But
That
yeah,
sounds fucking terrible. Who
it-
does
it's
that?
terrible.
The Hadza?
No, the Hadza is the baboon.
Yeah.
That's the baboon story. This is just in the Congo.
Well, who does that to him though? Like
This
a
village
tribe?
tribe people.
Why would they do that to him?
Because that's what they do. They sit around, they survive all day, and then just get wasted on the stuff and dance, and it's crazy. In the beginning, it's weird,
But-
he's drumming on a drum with 3 naked chicks jumping on a bed behind him.
Is it to convince him that it exists? Like they get him fucked
Yeah,
up?
I
and
think
then
just put one over on him. That's what they think they're
it's
doing.
like a really basic CIA
yeah,
tactic.
yeah.
without the acid and the aliens.
Very
It's,
rudimentary.
Yeah,
It's this crazy alcohol though. That he says, like he said, I couldn't feel my feet. Like it was just.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I don't want to watch that.
Well, that's why I advise it.
Fuck Vice.
What I did do, before I forget as well, is I put his clip of with Anthony Bourdain on our Twitter. Our Twitter is an abortion of an account. But
Whoa.
You guys have nothing to do with it. I suck at it.
Fuck it. Don't follow us on Twitter.
I put up the clip.
Twitter's for fucking losers anyway.
I put up the clip of him and Anthony eating at the Sizzler and some dumplings or something. I thought so. I mean, and when he talks, because he's riddled with guilt that Anthony asked for help.
Yeah, that was tough, eh?
Yeah.
This was so fucking
It's always tough. Listen, listening to a grown man cry is always very difficult.
Well, and just hearing almost, he might have the same pain. Like, I don't know if he's actually asking Joe for help in this episode. He's obviously reached out for help because he's gotten therapy and stuff. But he said, like, friends are like, what are you doing? Like, it's...
Yeah, but I almost felt like he was saying that, like, Bourdain asked him for help, but that there was no help to be given. You know what I mean? Like, someone can ask you for help. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, if you came to me tomorrow and said, I'm suicidal, I would offer you as much help as I could. But, like, what can I do?
I would tell your family, probably.
Yeah.
I think... I don't know. Obviously, we're just thinking when he was asked for help from Anthony, he was like, yes, but wasn't in a position. Whereas now, if it happened, maybe he's in a better position because he's more self-conscious. Like, what am I thinking and how, I mean, only because Anthony's dead, probably went through this transformation. So it's hard to say.
Either way, it was tough to listen to that part for sure. Very
powerful.
Difficult. Very difficult to get through that
Definition powerful.
little section.
They talked a little bit about elephants.
Joe won't go on an elephant again.
No, I don't blame him.
I would never get on an elephant.
Elephants are amazing creatures. I'll suggest again the White Bone to anybody who wants to read a good book about elephants.
Mary, we rode elephants in Thailand.
Gross.
It was gross. And Mary was bawling her eyes out the whole time.
Riding
She felt
the
it was
elephant?
animal cruelty.
Yeah, she was so bummed.
That's weird.
Were you bummed?
I really didn't want to go, but like my family took us there, and they were like, "We're riding these fucking elephants."
I mean,
And
out
was
of
like,
all
"Ugh."
the things that you could ride that I wouldn't feel bad about, it would be elephants because they're so strong, they hardly notice you on them. Whereas like a donkey, let's say, or like a pony, where you see like a fat kid on a pony, and you're like, they weren't meant to carry around fat
Simon,
kids.
it wasn't so much that it was like, "Oh, I'm really hurting this elephant's back." It's more just that you know that elephant is like a
Right.
super smart animal. Other than the fact that it's chained to just one stake in the ground, which it could easily pull out. That always fucked me up.
Because it knows then that it's going to be beaten or zapped
I know.
or
I know,
something.
it's insane.
You wouldn't do it either. But Joe, the ones Joe was riding, that's like you hang out, you brush them, you feed them, you take care of them, and then you ride them around. Or he made it seem like that anyways.
Either
Maybe it
way,
wasn't.
the ones you should do if you go to Thailand, there's elephant sanctuaries where you can just like get in the water with them and like splash around. Those are the ones I suggest. Those elephants are taken care of.
Did you guys think it was a Matrix moment when they talked about scrambled porn and all that stuff? Because
It was close.
we fell in that too when we were talking about Shapiro. And then obviously I went down the Pokemon porn hole.
Oh yeah, how'd that work for
Oh
you?
man, there's some crazy stuff out there. There's so many. It's the big. It's all Japanimation, most of it, and it's always a small girl getting fucked by demons.
Yeah, tentacle porn.
But then it'll go in
Hentai,
and it'll just
I
show the
think
cocks
it's called.
inside the body.
Because that's the only
point of
way
view.
they can
Yeah,
show
they can't show-
penetration in Japanese porn.
It's just I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's fucking
We
something else.
are fucked.
But that Pokemon porn also has another side to it, Kamar, where it's, you know, in Japan, it's like big culture to wear the outfits. I think it's called like Kiraji or Kikaraji or something, where you wear like a suit almost that has like the ears and the whatever. It's not quite like fuzzies, but it's kind of like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Furries.
But so there's porn like that too, where they're wearing like outfits.
That's human beings. This
Yeah.
is all anime.
Yeah,
stuff
no,
that
I
saw.
understand. It was
And it's just like disturbing.
I don't know how you could.
disturbing.
I don't know how I mean, listen, to each their own. I could never jerk off to animated anything.
No, that wouldn't work for me. Mind you, I've never tried. So if it was like super, I don't know. Like,
This is the thing, though. I guess, okay, if it was animated in like a hyper realistic manner, like you remember, what was that? Sex, Loves, and Robots?
Yeah.
You remember they pretty much had a
Oh,
porn
yeah, that
one in
was
there.
crazy.
So, like, I guess if it was done like that, maybe. But
wait.
I'm talking about this hentai fucking.
Let me run something by you, okay?
Sure.
Forget the hentai for a second because it's weird. I don't know how you would get off on the octopus, okay? That's weird to me. But what if it's like a porn? It's just a normal porn, but it's animated. So they're still doing like positions you would probably never do. Or whatever, you know?
Do you assume that's why I watch porn? Because I'm like, I would never do that position.
Well, I think some of it is like the fantasy of it, right?
Okay.
Like,
I don't think positions is my issue, though.
or whatever. Fine. So maybe it's okay. My point is.
Go ahead,
My
yeah.
point is, Matt, that that I could still see how that could maybe arouse one, because you're like still getting kind of what you get from porn, just it's a little scrambled. Let's say you still know what's going on. Like, you know, the way they do animation now where they just, it's not even very good, but you can tell it's like,
Well, keep in
just
mind,
the real thing, but made into
keep in mind,
animation.
too, part of the thing about the scrambled porn was the audio.
Well, yeah, and you're going to get the audio in this too.
But that's what I'm saying is like, you could almost argue that like, because it's like, think about, you can watch porn with the sound off and still get off. But like bad porn, you absolutely need some good audio.
But the thing is, I would be, if I was young, hard as a rock. He had this story talking about this kid who's taking Viagra to get semi-hard, who's watched.
That sounded like the
all the
biggest
porn.
anecdotal story ever, though, you know?
Maybe.
I got to
Grain of
admit,
salt.
well, no, I mean, listen, I sat there, Kamar, and I said, that story fucking sucks and that's terrible. And I thought to myself, you know, there obviously, that story probably didn't exist 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
He called him an incel. Like,
Yeah.
There's whatever liberties he took with his story, that kid exists. Those kids exist out there.
Sure. Let's keep in mind, though, there's places like India and China where they had fucking policies in place. Like, there's towns in India where there's no women. You know what I mean? What are those guys going to do?
They rape.
Jesus Christ.
You know,
They have an issue.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying.
Well, you asked me. Sorry.
Yeah. They rape.
as
but they
I'm-
save.
As I'm rethinking this podcast, how the fuck was this 4+ hours? They don't really talk about anything.
No. Post
tells a
Malone,
bunch of
they
stories.
spoke about nothing.
He tells a bunch of stories, and they were great stories, you know what I mean? But his stories must have been like an hour long each.
Half-hour stories, yeah. But again, some of his stories are weird because the self-editing, like it. He talked about the German guy and then stopped talking about the German guy, but then finally came back and said, the reason why I mentioned the German guy is because I was going to kill him because I was going crazy in the jungle because he's eating all my shit. But for a second, you're like, why even bring up the German guy? What, are we talking about a dinosaur? Or how'd you get to the Congo? Like he's
But who knows? Maybe it's because he has a one-man show coming out.
possibly.
He has a TV show coming out.
He doesn't know
said
the
that
name.
Right
He
at
doesn't
the
know
end.
when
He
it's
doesn't
coming
know when
out.
it's coming, doesn't know the name.
I thought that was a classy move, not
Yeah,
trying to
good stuff.
plug it too hard.
Would you really think that's what he was on to plug? Was that TV show that he didn't know the name and when it was coming out?
No, he's
yeah.
like I said, I,
I
don't
wonder
think it's a
why
cry
he-
for help because he can help, but he's like, Joe, how fast did I answer the phone when you called?
Well, I wonder why they got in touch with each other. You know what I mean? Like what precipitated that?
Well, that's the thing. Joe called him, so I mean, I think again, Joe just has all this. Like Joe's not traveling. He's not doing dates. He's not going on
He
vacation.
needs people who
He's
are
not
in
hunting.
LA.
So, and yeah, and it helps have people in LA. So he's like, who can I call who hasn't been on in a while? Who's an interesting, he's running through the Rolodex.
No, fair enough. That's probably right. Getting ready for his big Spotify move.
And it was weird when he mentioned how he got started with, he said Shane and Gavin had seen some stuff I'd done, so they picked me up, and
Yeah.
there was no mention of
How ridiculous! Two
How's
guys
Shane
from
doing now?
fucking Ottawa.
Crazy.
who knows
just
who knows what can happen for
ridiculous.
3 guys from Ottawa.
Fucking
20 years
ridiculous.
later.
We are a hub for something.
It's almost like I feel like Vice uses him for the cred,
For sure.
and
And then he in turn ended
Vice
up
takes
using.
away from him. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah,
because he's stuck with the fucking moniker now.
but
of
but
being
I
from
don't even
Vice.
think he's conscious of it because he's really left. You know, like that Trump stuff. He's really mad at Trump and for increasing violence against Asian people and stuff. And it's not like I realized.
but hold on, you're forgetting he's Korean and he grew up in L.A. So he watched the riots and he watched roof Koreans have to fucking hold down their own shit. So I can understand why he'd be angry at a president who's sitting back letting riots and looting and this, that, and the next.
And I'm not in any way saying he shouldn't be mad at the president. I'm just saying I can clearly see someone disagree with them or have different points of view and it not be an issue. Because of our discussion last week, I took an American, those political compasses?
Yeah.
You'd be happy to know I'm left.
I mean, never thought any different when it came down to the big things.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been saying the whole time.
I think most of the time your fight is that you're trying to back Trump and not necessarily the right.
It has nothing to do with the conservative values and whatever.
Anywho.
Yeah, Kamar, that was my whole thing. Is I was always just kind of like I found it odd that someone of your standing was a Trump supporter. That was all it was, and I don't really care. At the end of the day, you can support whoever you want. I'm still gonna call you my quasi friend.
Hey, pseudo.
I like how he said you're standing.
Yeah, I was like, well, I
don't
I
got
haven't
no
heard of
standing.
standing. Fuck.
You're number one.
He's fucking sitting.
Why, he's number one. His standing is number one.
But yeah, if there's ever been a live capturing of a tortured artist, it's David
Yeah,
Choe.
no, he's a crazy. This was a crazy episode. When Joe said this was one of the weirdest episodes ever, he was not fucking lying. This was one of the weirdest episodes ever.
Do you think his art's just going to go through the roof when he eventually passes away?
No.
I don't think as many people love his art as, like, he's a super rich artist because of that Facebook thing. Besides that, he's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but in most cases, when an artist passes away, then their genius.
Yeah,
or
I guess.
gets
You're
appreciated.
probably right.
Yeah, but Kamar, I think he has a lot. I think that's the difference.
He has too much art.
That's the thing. I think someone like Jackson Pollock, it's because there's fucking nothing left.
Emergency.
Someone's kid got taken.
Tornado.
No, it's a weather thing. Oh my
tornado.
God.
That's not good.
It's all happening, boys.
It's all
This is
coming
where
together.
it starts. The tornadoes.
That is so weird.
Then the locusts,
not
and then
good.
the aliens.
4:15. That's right now. Holy fuck.
That's a sign.
All right.
Well, this will be a fun post, Joe.
Whoop woo.
You want to rate this first?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give this episode a. Fuck, this is so hard. You go first, come on.
5.
Well, I don't even know what to do now.
I'm giving it a 5.
It has everything.
You're giving it a 5 too.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know
need
how
alien talk
I
or
don't know
anything
how
like that.
David Choe can come on and not get a 5. I'm at that point with him now.
I was moved. It moved me. And you should see the comments on the YouTube. Like people, this was powerful.
Well, yeah. Let me say that.
What more are you
Simon.
going to get out of it? Whether they talk.
It's rare that someone comes on and like just spills their heart. So I don't know. It has to get a 5 from me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with a. Holy shit! I don't.
You don't have to rate it based on what we
No,
rated.
no. I know. I don't even know what to give it though. Like, I don't think this was the greatest episode in the world, but I agree with you. He
It's the greatest episode in a long time.
puts
man.
he puts it all out there.
My only regret is I could not listen to this in a full. Like I said, had I driven to Toronto or something, this would have been the best thing
you know
ever.
what? It was really. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
I regret listening to it on 2 times, but I had to just for time's sake. But yeah, I might go back.
I just wish I listened to it over 2 days here and there. I wish I could have had the whole thing in the thing.
No, it was amazing. He's an amazing guy, a really amazing guy. Anyways, yeah, great week, boys.
Okay. Well, that was a show. If you want to email us, you can do so at jreepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
At Kamar Babar, Twitter and Instagram.
You can follow Simon on Instagram.
Don't bother.
Oh, he's on my boat now.
The nihilists are
I'm
out.
getting off of all social media again. I want to tell you something. Here's because, put your money where your mouth is type of deal. I stayed off all of social media almost my whole life.
I know.
I was never on Facebook.
You're a
I was
beacon.
never on Twitter. The only reason I even joined Instagram in the first place was because of this podcast.
It's our fault now.
So no. And I'm happy to do that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not, fuck this, man. I'm off it all again. I'm not doing it.
And
I don't wanna
you
be part of it.
you also realize how it sucked you in.
It's so easily.
You were completely correct in avoiding it.
I have a totally addictive personality. Like, I know that. And anything, be it TikTok or whatever, I don't need more of it. And fuck social media, and that's it. So don't follow me.
That being said, you can no, I'm kidding. What else? I guess there's a Reddit. It's reddit.com/JREE podcast. If you want to join the...
Let us know what you guys thought of Post Malone.
Oh, the show has an Instagram.
I said that already.
Oh, did you? Before I
started that
freaked
off.
out?
Yeah,
Okay,
before you did your little diatribe about fuck social media.
Sorry.
And how you handle our social media account. And the Patreon. Of course, if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is to go to patreon.com/JREE podcast. Sign up, join. There's multiple tiers. If you join the Patreon, you get the post show on Tuesdays, and you also get 3 episodes of This Won't Age Well. That's it.
Nope. We also, sorry, I didn't mean like that. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Let's get to 1,000, guys. We got to do this.
I got 2.
Go
One
ahead.
is
Fuck. I don't care.
go leave a nice review on iTunes. That really helps. Or I don't think you can on Spotify, right?
No. And you know what? Let's stop telling people to leave reviews, because every time we do this, we get one
Shat upon.
we get 1 5-star review where someone's like, great. And then we get 4 1-star reviews where someone leaves a small novelette about how much shit each one of us eats on a nightly basis.
I know, but the only way to battle the trolls out there is to do something about it. You know,
I'm not
what I
bothered by
mean?
that. Just subscribe to YouTube, guys.
Anyways,
please.
I'm with
and
Kamar.
then the merch. Go to the Instagram. There's a link right there. It's super easy. You just press on it. It takes you right there, and you can buy something or don't buy anything. But if you are going to buy something, use that stupid link.
DM me. We'll talk about it.
Sorry, it's not a stupid link. It's a great link. Go use the link. It'll
But he's
take you
David
to
Choe over here.
TeePublic,
Correct himself in
and
5
it
seconds.
will,
Super Simon. Good
and
Simon.
it'll
Good
bring
Simon.
you to the t-shirts.
I believe that might be it. There's no... Well, whatever. This will come back. This will come out after that, so I'll just write it somewhere. There's no throwback tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, right. We'll figure that out.
Well, I'm just going to write it on the Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
You're not getting a throwback. You'll still get 3, but that's it. Deal with it. I'm out of town a lot this month, too, so this is going to be a tough
Well,
one.
this is what we're talking about. Okay. Green carpet shit. Let's do this.
It's green room.
We talked about that.
No,
didn't talk
we
about
have a green carpet.
Fine.
That's why it's
Thank
green.
you so much for listening. We hope a tornado doesn't hit us. And
Go tornado. Oh, keep your eyes open. Sorry.